Chapter 1077. Chapter 1075. House Song's crisis. House Song was actually in a very delicate situation with Lingshan's generation. From the looks of it, House Song was like the sun in the sky. Her second grandpa used to be a mystic late-phase peak, and after a few unsuccessful attempts at breaking through to Earth class, he left to travel the world in search of a breakthrough. And Lingshan, other than House Yu, was the strongest among the younger generation of all the noble houses. With this kind of strength, House Song must be very strong, but that wasn't the case. There was a gap in House Song's strength. Lingshan had a sister who was studying right now, and had already entered the golden class. Second uncle's family had a younger brother, but he was too young. He was only 10 years old and hadn't entered the ranks of the golden class yet. As a result, there was a gap in the strength of the Song family. This was very dangerous for a noble family. House Song had a very strong second grandpa, but after he left, there was no news of him for many years. Who knew if he was still alive or not? And the strongest person in House Song was Lingshan's grandmother, old Madame Song. She had the strength of a mystic mid-phase, but her body was clearly getting weaker and weaker every year. If she really passed, then House Song would be in a very awkward situation. Her grandfather was only a golden class late-phase peak, which wasn't very strong in a noble house. And her father was a bookworm, focusing on theoretical knowledge. Second uncle wasn't a bookworm, but he was a spoiled brat. Otherwise, he wouldn't have married so late. Her brother was 10 years older than her. House Song's hope could be said to be Lingshan, her sister, and her brother. As of now, Lingshan was the only one who had made some progress. Lingshan's sister and brother were still a little lacking, especially the brother. He was talented, but he was still too young. It was very likely that House Song would be removed from the list of noble houses before he could grow up. There were only two ways to break out of this predicament. One was marriage. Lingshan and her sister would be married off to other noble houses to expand House Song's position. But with House Song's current situation, marriage wasn't suitable, and Lingshan didn't like this kind of forced marriage at all. Therefore, they could only take another path, and that was to become stronger. Continuously become stronger, break through the golden class, and enter the mystic class. That was the only way to protect the Song family's position. Lingshan didn't want the marriage, so she had to keep getting stronger and stronger. In truth, Lingshan had been working hard all these years, but she hadn't made much progress. But who knew that when he was in the dungeon, he accidentally broke through the barrier of the peak of the late phase of the golden class and became a master of the late phase of the golden class. Lingshan was stunned, but at the same time, she understood something. Grandma was right. The Song family's kung fu was very suitable for women to practice. However, in order to achieve a breakthrough, she had to practice with a man. Lingshan didn't think much of it before, but now that she thought about it, it did make sense. Back then, she had fantasized about being like Lin Yi, and in the end, she had broken through the barrier that she had been stuck with all this time. If he really did it with Lin Yi, would he be able to level up to the peak late phase of the golden class? The temptation of leveling up was something that Lingshan couldn't resist, and the thought of giving up made Lingshan feel that having Lin Yi as her boyfriend wasn't a bad idea. Lin Yi was very strong, and his strength was unfathomable. All of these satisfied Lingshan's criteria for a partner. A few days ago, House Yu, Xiao family, and Zhao Qibing came to cause trouble for Lin Yi, but in the end, nothing happened. This kind of strength wasn't something a normal person could have. Putting aside the fact that Lin Yi had a girlfriend, Lingshan was still very infatuated with Lin Yi. This guy was domineering, but the more he was like this, the more Lingshan felt that Lin Yi was the hero in her heart. Girls who practiced martial arts always worshipped heroes, even if this hero looked down on her a little. He always scolded her as Miss Braindead or Little Silly Girl, but Little Silly Girl was still better than Miss Braindead. Her hard work still bore fruit. Lingshan thought that since her chastity was gone, and Lin Yi had seen everything, she might as well take it one step further with Lin Yi. As long as it could increase her strength, it was a good thing. Lingshan didn't know what she was thinking. Was it because she liked Lin Yi that she was broken, or was it because she was broken that she was forced to like Lin Yi? Either way, this question was very complicated. It was like the chicken or the egg, giving her a headache. As a result, Lingshan didn't think too much about it. Since Lin Yi met her requirements, Lingshan didn't think she'd lose out. After dressing up, Lingshan leaned against the window, waiting for Lin Yi to arrive. She waited until 8 in the morning, and her eyes almost popped out when a yellow beetle appeared in front of her. This was Yushu's car, and Lin Yi usually drove it. Lingshan knew this. After the car drove in, Lingshan held her phone, waiting for Lin Yi to call her. But after waiting for a long time, Lin Yi didn't call. Lingshan was puzzled. What was Lin Yi doing? Why wasn't he calling? She waited a while longer, but Lin Yi's call still didn't come through. Lingshan was starting to panic, and after some hesitation, she decided to call Lin Yi. What made her depressed was that Lin Yi's line was busy. This Lin Yi, why did he come here to make a call? Lingshan wanted to act more reserved, but Lin Yi didn't give her the chance. Lingshan couldn't take it anymore. She went downstairs first. What kind of date was this? Other people's dates were always the guys getting anxious, but she was the girl. But Lingshan thought about it again. If Lin Yi was like other guys, acting like a yes-man in front of her, she wouldn't like him either. Forget it, she was a masochist. Who told her to like guys who were stronger than her? Lingshan packed up and went downstairs. While she was in the elevator, Lin Yi's call came in. Lingshan was overjoyed. She picked it up. Hello? Lin Yi. But there was a beep from the other side of the phone, and then there was no network. Lingshan was furious, and she almost smashed the phone. Why was there no signal? Lin Yi finally called, and there was no signal. Chapter 1078. Chapter 1076. Misunderstanding. Lingshan liked strong men, but now she realized that she was a normal woman as well. If she could be a little gentler in the midst of being strong, that'd be perfect. Lingshan got out of the elevator, and her phone rang again when she got to the lobby. Lingshan looked at Lin Yi's number, getting excited. Lin Yi was calling again. It seemed like she could be a little more reserved now. Lingshan couldn't help but feel happy at the thought. She adjusted her state and then picked up the phone. Hello? Silly girl, what's going on over there? I've been calling you for a long time, and now you're taking so long. Lin Yi's impatient voice came from the other side. Lingshan almost teared up. She felt so wronged that she wanted to die. Was this for real? I was in the elevator, and I saw your car coming, so I came down. Lingshan explained carefully. Oh, hurry up then. I'll wait for you at the door, Lin Yi said. Lingshan hung up and ran out of the office, ignoring her grievances. She saw Lin Yi's car and got in. Who are you? What are you doing in my car? Lin Yi looked at the pretty girl in his car, confused. She looked familiar, but Lin Yi couldn't remember where he'd seen her before. Her. Lingshan's eyes went wide as she pointed at herself in disbelief. Did Lin Yi lose his memory in such a short amount of time? Lingshan looked at that weird expression on Lin Yi's face. He didn't seem to be faking it. It's me, your silly girl. Have you forgotten? Lingshan? Lin Yi frowned as he looked at Lingshan. It's me. Lingshan nodded. It was good that Lin Yi remembered. Lin Yi looked at the person carefully. It really was Lingshan. It was just that her hairstyle had changed, and she had put on makeup, eyeliner, and eyelashes. She was much more beautiful than before, which surprised Lin Yi. Lingshan used to wear a police uniform, and her hair was tied up casually. Because of her profession, she didn't put on any makeup, and Lin Yi almost didn't recognize her at all. You went to Korea? Lin Yi didn't expect that little girl's song would be so beautiful when she was dressed up. She wasn't the slightest bit inferior to those movie stars. Although Lin Yi was surrounded by beautiful women, he still couldn't help but be moved and couldn't help but make a joke. Korea? Lingshan blinked. Plastic surgery. Lin Yi laughed. Go die. Lingshan was pissed off. Plastic surgery? Did she even need it? This was called natural beauty. But, after saying the word go die, Lingshan jumped in fright and quickly changed her words. Lin Yi. I wasn't talking about you, I was joking. I was joking with you too. Lin Yi shrugged and started the car. Lingshan let out a breath of relief when she saw that Lin Yi wasn't angry, but she was secretly delighted. Even Lin Yi admitted that she was pretty. But, Lin Yi turned his eyes back to the road after saying that. Lin Yi's composure wasn't something a normal person could achieve. Where's your house? Let's go. Lin Yi started the car. It's nearby. Go down this road after you leave the police station, and there's a small district about 1,000 meters away. Lingshan said to Lin Yi, a little disappointed all she got from Lin Yi was a compliment and a joke. Other than that, there didn't seem to be anything else. Lin Yi nodded and started the car, driving in the direction Lingshan was pointing at. The district Lingshan lived in was a modern white-collar district. It was full of high-class people, and there was an air of experience everywhere. Lin Yi parked the car in the direction Lingshan pointed and got out with Lingshan. This is the place. Lingshan came to a unit not far from the car, keyed in the password, and went upstairs with Lin Yi. Lingshan's house was a small room, very popular with single people. Lingshan only remembered that she didn't have any extra slippers after entering the house. Why don't you wear mine, and I'll go barefoot? Lingshan said to Lin Yi after some hesitation. No one comes here usually, it's always been me. Lin Yi paused. It seemed like he was the first person to enter Lingshan's room. Actually, if Lingshan wasn't so stupid sometimes, Lin Yi would quite like her. She had all the curves, and she was pretty. Who wouldn't like her? Plus, she was as obedient as a kitten in front of Lin Yi, and that made Lin Yi feel a sense of domination. It was just that Lin Yi didn't want to cause trouble for himself. Lingshan's dependence on him was strong enough already, and if something were to happen between the two, he wouldn't be able to do anything else in the future. He'd have to spend all his time helping her solve cases. I'll go barefoot, Lin Yi said casually, and took off his shoes and walked into the house. Lingshan hesitated, but didn't say anything. She felt a sweetness in her heart. It seemed like Lin Yi was very strong on the surface, but he was actually very considerate. Lingshan changed her shoes and walked into the house. She turned to Lin Yi. What do you want to drink? There's drinks and water. No need for the trouble. Lin Yi waved his hand. He didn't want to waste time. Helping Lingshan level up was a very troublesome thing, and after that, Lin Yi still needed to recover his strength. Lin Yi was worried that the Miss and Shu wouldn't be happy if he went back too late. Oh. Lingshan paused. Didn't you want to level up? Let's start now, Lin Yi said. Ah. We're starting now? Lingshan paused. She wasn't quite ready yet. She had decided to take things one step further with Lin Yi, but this was still her first time. Shouldn't she at least build up some feelings and prepare some foreplay? For this, Lingshan bought some red wine and candles, as well as some Western food. She wanted to DIY it and have a candlelit meal with Lin Yi, building up the atmosphere. She didn't think that Lin Yi would go straight to the point. Yeah, isn't that why you called me here? Lin Yi frowned as he retorted. Chapter 1079. Be frightened to death. Shower? Why are you showering? Are you dirty? Lin Yi paused. Why would Lingshan shower when she got home? I'm not dirty. Lingshan said, pissed off. She might not be dirty, but she'd showered the day before yesterday. She'd slept in the office last night, and it was inevitable that she'd become a bit of a clean freak. It was her first time, after all, so she had to be more formal, right? It'd be fine if she didn't have the conditions, but now that she did, she had to shower. Why would you shower if you're not dirty? Lin Yi said faintly, won't the makeup on your face go to waste after showering? But you don't want to. Cultivate a relationship with me first. Lingshan felt wronged. Naturally, she wanted to have a candlelight dinner with Lin Yi first. Naturally, she had to pay attention to her appearance. The prettier she was, the more Lin Yi's heart would move, and then the two would naturally hug and kiss, and Lingshan could say no. She'd go shower first, and then the two would naturally fall onto the bed. One had to admit that Lingshan's plan was quite perfect, but she was wrong about it. Her plan was a million miles away from Lin Yi's. Cultivate a relationship. Do we need to cultivate a relationship to raise our strength? Lin Yi blinked. This was the first time he'd heard of something like this. Looking at Lingshan's shy face, Lin Yi suddenly thought of something. Lingshan must have been thinking about it wrongly. In fact, when Lingshan called Lin Yi and asked Lin Yi to come here to help her level up, Lingshan had already hinted at something like this, but Lin Yi didn't think much of it at the time. But today, Ling Shan's behavior reminded Lin Yi of Ling Shan's true goal. Ling Shan wasn't trying to use the same method she used in the prison to level up, was she? That was a little too absurd. Lin Yi didn't know what Ling Shan's practitioner's arts were like, but he knew that it was special. He didn't believe that Ling Shan could level up just by thinking about a man touching himself. The last time she leveled up, she might have already touched the barrier of the next level, and that was why she broke through in that kind of situation. However, Lin Yi would never believe that he could level up simply by relying on such a thing. Other people would train their whole lives and still not make any progress, but Ling Shan just touched it for a while and broke through? This joke is not funny at all. Of course. It's my first time, after all. Ling Shan blushed as she carefully looked at Lin Yi's face, afraid that Lin Yi would get angry and leave. Ling Shan was a little annoyed according to her investigation. Lin Yi should be a big playboy, surrounded by beauties, with a girlfriend, Tang Yun, and even having an unusual relationship with Meng Yaro and Yu Shu. Today, Ling Shan wanted to dress herself up to attract Lin Yi, but she didn't expect that Lin Yi didn't seem to be attracted at all. This made Ling Shan very conflicted. Was she really that bad? It's fine, it's not my first time. Lin Yi said faintly. He thought about Ling Shan's misunderstanding, and decided to tease Ling Shan. In fact, Lin Yi liked the tiger girl from before, and arguing with her was quite interesting. Ah, it's not your first time? Then what was your first time? Ling Shan paused. She thought that it was Lin Yi's first time as well, but it didn't seem like it. So Lin Yi's first time was with Tang Yun? My first time was with myself. Lin Yi said faintly. In actuality, the first person Lin Yi helped increase his strength was indeed himself. Ling Shan paused, suddenly remembering a sentence she read on the internet, saying that most men gave their first time to their hands. Could it be that it was the same for Lin Yi? That explained everything. Ling Shan let out a breath of relief, but still asked hesitantly, so today was the second time? The second time was with a dog. Lin Yi said. Ha! Dog. Ling Shan's eyes widened upon hearing Lin Yi's words, and she pointed at Lin Yi, her mouth wide open. With a dog. Wasn't Lin Yi a little too strong? With a dog. Was this a real-life version of Beauty and the Beast? No, it should be a handsome guy and a mother beast. Yes, it's a dog, General Weiwu. Lin Yi nodded. Mighty. General. Ling Shan almost fainted on the spot. Wasn't General Weiwu Meng Yaro and Yu Shu's dog? Wasn't that dog a male? Lin Yi was with a male dog. How was that possible? Isn't this a little too inconceivable? Ling Shan felt a chill down her spine, and goosebumps popped up all over her body. She felt like she didn't like Lin Yi anymore. This man was too scary, wasn't he? Then, was there a third time? Ling Shan continued to ask. She was a policewoman, after all, and she'd seen a lot of crazier cases. What Lin Yi said made her a little nauseous, but it wasn't as bad as those people who ate babies alive. The third time. Forbett. Lin Yi said expressionlessly. Fu. Forbett. Ling Shan rolled her eyes, almost fainting. Forbett. Wasn't he Peng Zhan's driver and butler? Wasn't he a man in his 40s or 50s? Lin Yi was with him. Were they gay buddies? No wonder Lin Yi was with a male dog. So this was the reason. Ling Shan couldn't take it anymore. This was too disgusting, too perverted. She couldn't take it anymore. The last time she was in the dungeon, she had treated Lin Yi as her fantasy partner. She didn't think that Lin Yi would do something like this. He ate both humans and beast. Ling Shan was even thinking that Forbett knew General Weiwu. Did the three of them have a threesome? She couldn't take it anymore. Ling Shan felt like throwing up. She couldn't take it anymore. However, Lin Yi didn't care about Ling Shan's expression. He said normally, I called Jun Bro when I was downstairs, wanting to try it out with him, but he's not in the city, so I gave up and came to you first. Jun Bro. Yong Huaijuan Bro? Ling Shan blinked. Yeah. Lin Yi nodded. Chapter 1080. You're thinking wrong. Oh. Alright, I'll be leaving then. Lin Yi nodded and stood up, getting ready to leave. Ling Shan started to hesitate as she watched Lin Yi leave without any hesitation. Was what Lin Yi said true or false? Lingshan thought about it, and couldn't understand why it was happening. First of all, Lin Yi's words didn't seem to be reliable at all. From the time she spent with Lin Yi, she didn't think that Lin Yi was someone like that. Could it be that Lin Yi didn't like her and said that on purpose so that she wouldn't bother him? Lingshan felt that it was very possible. Every time she asked for Lin Yi's help to find clues, Lin Yi would agree in the end, but he didn't seem very willing and impatient. As for Lin Yi, could he be using this as an excuse to distance himself from her? Was that why he was spouting nonsense? Wait. Lingshan didn't want to let Lin Yi leave just like that. Is there anything else? Lin Yi turned around. Did you really do that with General Weiwu and Forbert? Lingshan looked into Lin Yi's eyes, trying to find the real answer. What do you mean? Lin Yi asked. It's sex. Lingshan gritted her teeth. Sex? Lin Yi's eyes went wide as he looked at Lingshan, confused. Me, General Weiwu, and Forbert having sex. Are you retarded again? How did you think of that? Aren't your thoughts a little too complicated? Did you read too many fujoshi novels? Why would I read fujoshi novels? Didn't you say it before? The first time you gave it to yourself, the second was with Weiwu, and the third was with Forbert. Lingshan gritted her teeth. Why was this Lin Yi denying it all of a sudden? She scolded herself for being brainless again. She was really unlucky. She had just successfully leveled up into a little silly girl, but after a few days, she was demoted back to a brainless girl. That's right. This is the first time I've used this method to increase my strength. It's to help myself. The second time was for General Weiwu and the third time was for Forbert. Is there a problem? Lin Yi asked back. What are you thinking? Why are your thoughts so complicated? You're talking about increasing strength. Lingshan's face reddened. Did he really think wrong? But wasn't that the way to increase one's strength? Wasn't that how he had improved last time? And so, Lingshan didn't want to admit defeat. Then how do you want to help me increase my strength? Take off your clothes, Lin Yi said faintly as he looked at Lingshan. His plan to tease Lingshan wasn't over yet. Take off my clothes. Lingshan paused. If it were before, Lingshan would have been more than happy to take off her clothes if he'd asked her to. She'd gladly do it, but Lin Yi wasn't going to let her. But now, Lin Yi said so many scary things, and although it didn't seem like what she thought it was, Lin Yi asking her to take off her clothes made her hesitate again. Could it be that when Lin Yi helped Forbert level up, Forbert took off his clothes too? Are you going to level up or not? My time is limited. If not, I'll be leaving first, Lin Yi frowned and said faintly. Level up. Lingshan gritted her teeth, feeling wronged. But in an instant, she thought of another problem. She thought that Lin Yi might have been testing her. If Lin Yi really had something to do with Forbert and General Weiwu, then why would Meng Yaro and Yushu let Lin Yi stay in the villa? They'd kick him out, wouldn't they? Plus, Lin Yi had a pretty girlfriend, Tang Yun. If Lin Yi really had a problem with his sexual orientation, then what was up with Tang Yun? It couldn't be a toy, could it? Then he might as well look for Kang Xiaobo or Zhong Pingliang or something. Of course, there was also the possibility that Meng Yaro, Yushu, and Tang Yun didn't know about Lin Yi at all, but how could that be possible? There was no such thing as an impenetrable wall in the world. If Lin Yi could tell her about this so easily, then there was no way he could keep it a secret. And so, Lingshan thought that maybe Lin Yi was testing her on purpose, purposely putting himself in such a bad position so that Lingshan wouldn't bother him in the future. With that thought, Lingshan felt relieved. She reached out to untie her belt. Lingshan was someone who liked cleanliness, so the first thing she did when she got home was to take off her pants and sit on the sofa, slowly taking off her other clothes. That way, the sofa wouldn't get dirty. And so, subconsciously, Lingshan took off her pants as well. What are you doing? Lin Yi couldn't help but find it funny that Lingshan was taking off her pants. He stopped teasing her. If he kept teasing her, she'd really get into trouble. After all, Lin Yi came to Lingshan's place to help her get stronger, not to do anything else. Weren't you the one who told me to take off my clothes? Lingshan looked at Lin Yi, confused. I told you to take off your clothes, but I didn't tell you to take off your pants. Lin Yi corrected. Ah. Lingshan paused. Taking off my clothes. Taking off my pants. Was there a difference? Of course, there would be a difference if she tried to pick on the words, but didn't they all mean the same thing? Lingshan was a little troubled. Could it be that Lin Yi really had some sort of special hobby? Did he only like the upper body and not the lower? But, with all the suspicions from before, and after being tricked by Lin Yi, Lingshan didn't say anything. Take off your clothes, then. Lingshan was numb to it. As long as she could get stronger, nothing else mattered. Lingshan's thoughts started to come back to haunt her once more, and so she started to stop caring. After taking off her jacket, Lingshan started to unbutton her shirt, but Lin Yi stopped her. All right, just take off your jacket. Lin Yi really wanted to see more of Lingshan's inner self, but he gave up on that idea. Some things needed to be done in moderation. This song girl had too many troubles, and solving cases for her was much harder than fulfilling Xiaoxiao's wishes. Plus, Lin Yi didn't want to have any more emotional debts for no reason. From the looks of it, it was already troublesome enough. Tang Yun and Xiaoxiao were confirmed as the first and second wives. Big Miss and Little Shu didn't know their true feelings. Little Shu's behavior was more obvious, but she often lied. The Miss didn't lie, but she rarely expressed anything. Chapter 1081. Her strength increases rapidly. Lingshan was even more puzzled by Lin Yi's action. After all this time, all she had to do was take off her jacket. Lin Yi had only told her to take off her jacket to show the meridians on her wrists. Rolling up her sleeves was fine too, but Lin Yi was just joking with her. That's it. Then what do we do now? Lingshan's plans were all messed up, and she could only look at Lin Yi confusedly. Go sit on the sofa, Lin Yi said faintly. With that, Lin Yi took a step forward and sat on the sofa. Lingshan, on the other hand, hesitated for a moment before sitting beside Lin Yi. All right, then? Lingshan asked. Lin Yi didn't say much, only grabbing her hand, making her blush once more. It was her first time holding hands with someone of the opposite sex, and it was gone just like that. How romantic. Circulate your inner force on your own, Lin Yi said and ignored her. He closed his eyes and entered the space of the jade pendant. Lin Yi had discovered that the energy in the jade space could be transferred to other people through his own body, and it wouldn't affect his own energy. This made Lin Yi quite happy. He could finally raise other people's strength without losing levels. Of course, this wouldn't be as effective as before, and Lin Yi wouldn't be able to get any benefits from transferring qi to other people. But Lin Yi had just leveled up, and he hadn't touched the barrier to the late phase of mystic yet. Even if he did it again, it wouldn't be of much use. When he really touched the barrier to the late phase of mystic, he'd have to do it again. Only then would he be able to achieve the same effect. Even so, Lin Yi already had a golden finger that no one else could compare to. Many people would reach the barrier of the next level, but they wouldn't be able to find the opportunity to break through in their lifetimes. But Lin Yi was different. As long as Lin Yi had enough qi in his body, he would be able to break through the barrier and reach the next level without any pressure. After Lin Yi entered the jade space, he started channeling the art of dragon mastery. Lingshan was a bit puzzled. Channeling the practitioner's arts now? The spiritual energy in his house was very thin. Cultivating here shouldn't be of much use to a master of the late phase of the golden class, right? Lingshan wanted to ask Lin Yi what was going on, but seeing that Lin Yi had his eyes closed, she gave up and followed Lin Yi's instructions, channeling the practitioner's arts. But in the next moment, a look of extreme shock appeared on Lingshan's face. She suddenly felt a wave of pure qi flowing into her body from Lin Yi's body, and it was pouring into her body continuously. What was going on? Was Lin Yi transferring his qi to her? Did Lin Yi transfer the pure qi in his body to him? Lingshan was a Wulin person, and naturally, she knew the rules of using qi. Normally speaking, every practitioner's arts would produce different qi, and they couldn't be used together. The best-case scenario would be damage to the meridians, and the worst-case scenario would be the two types of qi repelling each other and exploding. But Lin Yi's qi didn't seem to be like that. After Lin Yi's qi entered Lingshan's body, it was absorbed very quickly, as if the qi was created for her practitioner's art. This was more than enough to shock Lingshan. How could she use Lin Yi's qi? Suddenly, Lingshan remembered that time in the hospital, when Lin Yi healed Liu Buojia, he used his qi to heal him. Did this mean that Lin Yi's qi could really be used by others? Alright, even if she could use Lin Yi's qi, Lingshan knew how precious it was. It was something that took a lot of hard work to get, and this little bit of qi already cost a lot of treasures. Lin Yi, on the other hand, had transferred her qi in just a short while, and it was already equivalent to a few months' worth of training for her. Was Lin Yi really willing to do this? At that thought, Lingshan felt that Lin Yi really treated her well. She really did think that Lin Yi's method of leveling up was completely different from what she'd imagined. It wasn't dual practitioning, but a one-sided transfer of energy to her. Lingshan felt a surge of gratitude in her heart. Lingshan asked herself that she and Lin Yi weren't that close yet, were they? One had to know that even in many large sects, when disciples practiced the same martial arts, one side wouldn't easily pass on the true qi that they had painstakingly cultivated to others without reservation. This was because the hardships of cultivation were truly unimaginable. The higher one's cultivation level, the harder it was to advance even the slightest bit. Who would be willing to give their true qi to others? Lingshan, on the other hand, only knew that her grandpa and grandma were the ones who helped each other with their qi. But they were husband and wife, an old couple. They'd been through thick and thin together for a lifetime, and naturally they'd worked together to run House Song well. But she and Lin Yi, they couldn't even be considered a couple, could they? How could Lin Yi be willing to do this for her? One had to know that every time her grandma helped her grandpa level up, she'd lose a lot of qi. She was already a mystic mid-phase peak, but every time she helped her grandpa level up, she'd lose some of her strength. This was one of the reasons why she hadn't improved all these years. With that thought, Lingshan's gaze towards Lin Yi was filled with tenderness. She didn't like him for nothing. He treated her so well, and it touched her, but after a while, Lingshan's face turned even weirder. Because Lin Yi hadn't stopped transferring qi to her, Lin Yi's qi was still coming in endlessly, and this had already exceeded Lingshan's expectations. Even if her grandma was transferring qi to her grandpa, it wouldn't be this much at once. However, Lin Yi seemed to be endlessly transferring his pure energy over to him. Lingshan frowned, thinking that there wouldn't be a problem, would there? But seeing Lin Yi with his eyes closed and not saying a word, Lingshan couldn't say anything. In the end, Lingshan sighed and closed her eyes, continuing to circulate her practitioner's arts, absorbing the qi that Lin Yi was transferring to her. Chapter 1082. Late Phase. Mystic. Lingshan channeled her practitioner's arts, her heart filled with shock. But Lin Yi didn't seem like he was going to stop. Lingshan could feel that she wasn't far from golden class late phase peak. Was this real? Was she dreaming? Lingshan couldn't believe it. This was too surreal, wasn't it? But sometimes, things just weren't real. Lingshan could feel her body absorbing more and more qi, and her strength was increasing rapidly as well. It could be said that today was the fastest day in her life that her strength had improved. If this were before, Lingshan wouldn't be able to imagine that she could increase her strength this fast in such a short amount of time. Lingshan had been fantasizing about using House Song's arts to get her to golden class late phase peak, but that was just a fantasy. If House Song's arts were that useful, then her grandpa wouldn't have just reached golden class late phase peak. But now, Lingshan had a feeling that she could really break through. She could really reach golden class late phase peak. Lingshan looked at Lin Yi, who was still sitting there with his eyes closed, his face expressionless. She couldn't see anything wrong with it, and so she decided to stop Lin Yi for now. Lingshan didn't want to disturb Lin Yi in a situation like this. Who knew if one sentence from her would distract Lin Yi and cause him to go crazy? Lingshan knew that transferring qi to someone was much more complicated and difficult than training herself. One mistake and she'd go crazy, and so she was worried that Lin Yi might not be able to handle it, but she endured it. Lingshan took a deep breath and closed her eyes again, greedily absorbing the qi that Lin Yi was transferring. This pure qi wasn't something that could be absorbed in the natural world, and so she treasured it a lot. She didn't want to waste any of it. This was all Lin Yi's hard work, and now he was giving it to her just like that. How could she let Lin Yi's kindness down? As grateful as she was, Lingshan didn't dare slack off at all. She kept channeling House Song's practitioner's arts, and after a while, she felt the chi in her body increasing, as if she was about to reach the barrier of Golden Class late phase peak. Was she going to break through this soon? A flash of disbelief flashed in Lingshan's eyes. Lin Yi was forcefully pushing himself up from late phase to late phase peak. Soon, she felt like her body was about to explode. The chi surged into her body rapidly, and it wasn't slowed down by the barrier at all. Under normal circumstances, every time a person reached the barrier of the first stage, it would be hard to absorb more chi into the body, but this situation was different. Not only did the chi in her body not decrease, but it was actually increasing. Lingshan couldn't bear the pain, but she was also shocked. She didn't know what would happen if this continued, or if there would be any side effects, but she didn't stop practicing. She thought that Lin Yi wouldn't harm her, and so, although the situation wasn't good, this was the sign of her breakthrough. Time passed, second by second, from morning till noon. Lingshan's strength was increasing every second, and finally, she couldn't take it anymore. The chi in her body was saturated to a certain level. She was about to scream, but the next moment, her body felt like it was about to explode, and the result was a feeling that she had never felt before. This feeling was the same as that moment in the prison, and it made her feel like she was flying in the sky. Ah! Lingshan couldn't help but moan. She broke through, she really broke through. Yes, she was now a Golden Class late phase peak. Lingshan didn't think that she would be a Golden Class late phase peak now, even though she had just broken through a few days ago. Wasn't this leveling speed a little too scary? Lingshan wanted to thank Lin Yi, but she suddenly realized that Lin Yi's chi didn't seem to have stopped, and it was still flowing into her body. No way. Lingshan paused. Could it be that Lin Yi wanted to help her get to the next level? Lingshan was shocked the current situation had completely exceeded her expectations. Didn't Lin Yi need to rest? But, since Lin Yi didn't say anything, Lingshan couldn't ask. She could only continue practicing House Song's practitioner's arts and absorb the chi from Lin Yi. 2 hours later, Lingshan couldn't believe the reality in front of her. She actually touched the barrier of the profound rank. Was she going to break through again? Was she going to become a mystic? Lingshan couldn't even imagine it. She really wanted to raise her hands and cheer. Mystic was a dream of many people. Stepping into Mystic from Golden Class, not only did her strength increase by leaps and bounds, but her lifespan would also increase. Furthermore, with the protection of her vital energy, ordinary swords and spears would not be able to harm her. To Lingshan, this was something she'd been dreaming of. But, her excitement didn't last long, and she had to stop. The pure energy that Lin Yi sent over suddenly stopped when she touched the barrier of the Mystic class. This meant that Lingshan was still at Golden Class late phase peak, but she was only at Golden Class late phase peak. She was only one step away from Mystic, but this step wasn't easy to cross. Lin Yi opened his eyes slowly, not surprised at all. It seemed that as long as he didn't break through to Earth class, he wouldn't be able to raise someone else's strength to Mystic. But even so, Lin Yi was satisfied. This was much stronger than others. Although the masters he created were useless to him, it was still shocking to others. I'm done, feel it yourself, Lin Yi said faintly. You should be at Golden Class late phase peak now. Chapter 1083. Chapter 1081. Lin Yi's coldness. The current situation was, without a doubt, a pleasant surprise for Lingshan. Lingshan was definitely the leader of the younger generation right now, and she felt that it wouldn't be a problem for her to break through to Mystic one day. But right now, the person she cared about the most was Lin Yi. She turned her head and looked at Lin Yi, her eyes filled with gratitude and tenderness. In the past, Lingshan's feelings for Lin Yi were more like helplessness, but now, she felt that she really liked Lin Yi. What Lin Yi did was something that anyone would be grateful for. Thank you, Lin Yi. How do you feel now? Lingshan looked at Lin Yi with concern. You gave me all your chi, then. I'm fine, Lin Yi said faintly. In fact, Lin Yi really was fine. This time, Lin Yi had only gone to sleep in the Jade, and at most, he had wasted half a day of training without leveling up, but Lin Yi's own strength wasn't affected at all. All the energy that was given to Lingshan came from the Jade space, and Lin Yi's body was just a medium. Lin Yi said that, but Lingshan, naturally, didn't believe him. How could he be fine after losing so much qi? Her grandma had only given her grandpa a bit of qi, and she had to go into isolation for a long time to recover, let alone Lin Yi giving her so much qi. Lin Yi, thank you. I know that you must be having a hard time right now, Lingshan said, touched. I didn't think that you'd be so nice to me, giving me so much qi and raising my strength so much. I really don't know what to say. Lingshan's original plan was to flirt with Lin Yi today and do some dual practicing, increasing her strength a little. What she didn't expect was that Lin Yi didn't do the dual practicing with her, but used another method to transfer his qi to her, forcibly increasing her strength. Lingshan let out a breath of relief. Lingshan was a little emotional towards Lin Yi, but this was her first time, after all. How could she not care? Even if the goal was dual practicing, she still felt that it should be more romantic. It'd be best if the first time wasn't for the dual practicing, but for love. Now, she had successfully kept her first time, but in her heart, she was a little disappointed. She didn't quite understand Lin Yi's thought. Did Lin Yi have feelings for her or not? If Lin Yi had feelings for her, he could have just gone with the flow and slept with her, but Lin Yi didn't do that. But if Lin Yi didn't have feelings for her, then why would he waste so much qi on someone he didn't like? This qi didn't grow on trees, after all. It was so precious, why would he just give it to a stranger? Lin Yi said faintly as he looked at the emotional Lingshan. It's nothing, my dog's a golden class late phase peak too. Ah! Lingshan paused, and then her face went red with anger at Lin Yi's word. Did Lin Yi think that she was on the same level as a dog? Did that mean that Lin Yi giving her strength was like giving a dog strength? Alright, it's getting late, I should go. Lin Yi stood up and walked towards the door without saying anything else. Lin Yi's reaction was completely out of Lingshan's expectations. Lingshan didn't know what to do with Lin Yi's coldness. Lingshan didn't understand Lin Yi spent so much effort to give her strength, but in the end, he didn't do anything good. What did that mean? Of course, Lingshan didn't believe what Lin Yi said before. Lin Yi's words only made Lingshan angry for a moment before she calmed down. Although Lin Yi called her Miss Braindead and Miss Dumb, Lingshan wasn't dumb or braindead at all. Otherwise, she wouldn't be sitting in the position she was sitting in today. Lingshan felt that Lin Yi purposely said that and acted so coldly. Back in the hospital, Lin Yi treated Liu Bojia's wounds, and he was sweating profusely. Today, he used even more qi. How could he be fine? Of course, just like what Lin Yi said, General Weiwu might have become a master at the peak of the late phase of the golden class, but there must be a reason for it. Even if Lin Yi had nothing better to do, he wouldn't level up a dog. Wait. Lingshan quickly stopped Lin Yi after thinking about it. Lin Yi couldn't help but frown inwardly at Lingshan's word. The reason why he acted so coldly was because he was afraid that Lingshan would be touched and do something like offering herself to him. The atmosphere between the two was already very ambiguous, and now that Lingshan had broken through, it was very possible that she'd do something rash again. Although Lin Yi's willpower was stronger than normal people, but in front of a beauty, if she used extreme seduction and temptation, maybe Lin Yi would give in. Of course, this wasn't what Lin Yi wanted to see. As of now, he only saw Lingshan as a pretty good friend, or at most a lover he had a bit of a relationship with. There was still a distance between lovers. Although Lin Yi thought that Miss Song wasn't bad, with a good face and a good body, Lin Yi was afraid that if something really happened between them, Miss Song would force him to do this and that, and Lin Yi didn't have that much time to deal with it. Plus, from Lin Yi's point of view, having a lover wasn't a problem. As long as Tang Yin didn't object, it wasn't a big deal. But Lin Yi really didn't have that much time to help Lingshan solve the case. There were so many wishes of Xiao Xiao that hadn't been fulfilled yet, and Lin Yi couldn't afford to be distracted by other things. And so, in summary, Lin Yi decided to treat Lingshan coldly, to prevent their relationship from advancing too fast. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was very unhappy when he stood up to leave. He thought that if Miss Song didn't have so many troubles, how great would it be? Is there anything else? Lin Yi asked faintly. You're tired, right? Why don't you rest a bit before you leave? I'll cook for you. Lingshan said softly, not affected at all by Lin Yi's words. Chapter 1084. Loss and conflict are? Lingshan paused, blushing. But she was a little angry. Lingshan was a little frustrated, but she still had her pride, and Lin Yi's words made her look like she didn't deserve it. Lingshan was a girl as well. She could accept being called an idiot and a dumb girl, but she couldn't accept being called a slut. Lingshan looked at Lin Yi angrily. Lin Yi, Lingshan, am not a casual woman. If you don't believe me, then there's nothing I can do. But what I want to say is that before that time in the basement, no man has ever seen my body. Alright, I believe you, but not being casual has nothing to do with being slut. Lin Yi didn't want Lingshan to seduce him anymore. If this went on, something bad would happen sooner or later. He might as well end it as soon as possible. Now that Lin Yi had finished leveling up Lingshan's strength, Lingshan wouldn't be looking for Lin Yi in the near future. This was also why Lin Yi agreed to help her level up. Otherwise, with Lingshan's way of thinking, who knew what she meant by leveling up? Touching herself in front of him? Once or twice was fine, but after a while, Lin Yi wasn't a pervert. Something would definitely happen. Then, I'll only do it with you. Lingshan thought about it and decided not to correct him. It was fine as long as Lin Yi believed in her innocence. As for doing it with Lin Yi, it wasn't a big deal. She'd already done it with Miss Braindead and Miss Dumb. She didn't mind being a slut again. If you like, you can call me slut too, Fut. Lin Yi froze at the words, almost falling to the ground. That worked. There were people who were willing to be sluts. What was wrong with them? I still have something to do. Let's talk on the phone. Lin Yi realized that he couldn't take it anymore. Lingshan really was a stunner, especially the way she was groveling in front of him and the way she was a little masochistic. It made Lin Yi want to go up and conquer her. Without a doubt, all the women around Lin Yi had their own specialties, but Lingshan was definitely an exception. Although she was extremely domineering in front of outsiders, in front of Lin Yi, she was a mess. This made Lin Yi feel very special. He had an indescribable sense of accomplishment. This kind of feeling made Lin Yi feel that it was very dangerous, and he couldn't stop even if he wanted to. Lin Yi didn't say anything else to Lingshan, pushing the door open and leaving the apartment. Lingshan sighed, a little disappointed as she looked at Lin Yi's indifferent back. She really couldn't understand Lin Yi. This man really did move her heart, but at the same time, he confused her. Did he like her or not? Lingshan gritted her teeth. Lin Yi, you've seen me naked. This was unforgivable for a noble house that valued women. Unless Lingshan married Lin Yi, she'd be a laughingstock if word got out that she'd be the butt of everyone's jokes. Many big houses were like this, allowing men to have multiple wives and concubines, and the young masters of noble houses were allowed to play with women as much as they wanted before marriage. No one would say anything about it, but the young misses of noble houses were not allowed to have anything to do with a man before marriage, unless it was her fiancé. Otherwise, even if it was holding hands or looking at her body, it was absolutely not allowed. This was why Lingshan had the thought of giving up before, but as time went on, she really did like this strong man, Lin Yi. Lingshan felt that only Lin Yi was worthy of her. All these reasons made Lingshan make this decision today. But, this decision couldn't be realized, because Lin Yi didn't dual practice with her at all, and he even rejected the idea of dual practice. Could it be that Lin Yi had a cold personality? Lingshan speculated, not without a hint of viciousness. She was pissed. Lingshan stomped her feet in anger. She knew very well whether or not Lin Yi had a cold personality. Back in the hospital, Lin Yi had a reaction. That was why Lingshan was so angry. Tempage for me. Lin Yi, the man I've set my sights on, I will never change. Lingshan gritted her teeth. After cursing Lin Yi for a while, Lingshan got excited again. The joy of leveling up made her want to tell her grandpa immediately. Lingshan temporarily put the matter with Lin Yi at the back of her mind and quickly picked up her phone, calling her grandpa's room number. Hello. The head of House Song, Song Xiangwen, picked up very quickly. This was his private number, and only the children of House Song and the heads of other noble houses knew about it. During the day, Song Xiangwen pretty much stayed in his room to train, so he picked up the phone immediately. Grandpa, it's me, Lingshan said excitedly. I have good news for you. Oh, Shanshan, it's you. It's been a while since I last called Grandpa. What is it? Do you have good news for me? Xiangwen heard that it was his granddaughter's voice, and his tone became very kind. Lingshan was the most outstanding member of the younger generation in house song, having the strength of a late-phase golden class at such a young age. Her future was limitless. But sometimes, Xiangwen felt that it was a pity that Lingshan was a girl. Wouldn't it be great if she was a boy? How long has it been? Didn't I call you to tell you the good news when I broke through to late-phase golden class? Lingshan said coquettishly. In front of her grandpa, she became a spoiled little girl again. This was Lingshan's changeable personality. Haha, it's been a few days, hasn't it? Xiangwen smiled. Shanshan, what good news do you have for grandpa? Why don't you take a guess? Lingshan smiled, keeping him in suspense. Oh, all right, then let grandpa guess. Is it because you solved a big case, and your position is going to be promoted? Xiangwen guessed. It's not that. I've solved a lot of big cases, but that's my job, my responsibility. There's nothing to be happy about. Lingshan said faintly. Then it's not that. Xiangwen paused, and thought about it. Could it be that you have a boyfriend? Lingshan's face reddened at her grandpa's word. The speaker didn't mean it, but the listener got it. Xiangwen knew that his granddaughter had high standards, so he said it to tease her, but he didn't think that he would hit the nail on the head. Xiangwen paused when he heard that Lingshan didn't say anything. Could it be that he was right? His granddaughter had a boyfriend? However, Song Xiangwen's heart was a little nervous. Chapter 1085. Chapter 1083, Lingshan's criteria. Shanshan, you really got a boyfriend? Xiangwen asked, a little nervous. Not yet. Lingshan, naturally, wouldn't tell him about Linyi. This was her privacy, plus, Linyi had a girlfriend now, and she was only a mistress now. Fourth or fifth, it was embarrassing. Oh, not yet. Xiangwen heard his granddaughter's words and calmed down, but he was still a little disappointed. His granddaughter was all grown up now, and she still didn't have a man she liked. He thought that Yutian and Yutian would be together, and while he didn't have high hopes for him, Yutian was from a noble house, after all, so he didn't object. But the current situation was completely different from the past. Lingshan was only a golden class mid-phase back then, and Yutian was a golden class early phase. The two weren't that far apart, and so Xiangwen could accept it. But now, Lingshan was a golden class late phase, and the difference between her and a golden class early phase was huge. Xiangwen naturally didn't want his granddaughter to marry Yutian again. Song Xiangwen's influence was actually quite normal. House Song's hope was now resting on Lingshan, but no matter how much Lingshan's strength increased, she would still have to marry someone else and become someone else's wife. And so, Lingshan's strength could only be used as a bargaining chip for House Song to connect with other houses. The stronger Lingshan got, the stronger her son-in-law would be, and the more help he'd be to House Song. As long as House Song held on until Lingshan's brother grew up, they'd be able to keep their position. And so, Xiangwen wanted Lingshan to find a stronger man to take care of her brother. From the looks of it, Lingshan didn't have a boyfriend, and Xiangwen was worried as well. He knew Lingshan's standards, and if this continued, the only one who could surpass her would be that House Yu's disciple, who had never shown his face before. None of the younger generation in the noble houses were a match for Lingshan anymore. Grandpa, I broke through again. I'm a golden class late phase peak now. Lingshan said, seeing that her grandpa couldn't figure it out. Oh, you broke through again. What? Shanshan, what did you say? You said you broke through again? How is that possible? Xiangwen's eyes widened in shock. How was this possible? If he remembered correctly, the last time Lingshan broke through was a couple of days ago. Even a few days ago, Song Xiangwen was shocked for quite a while. He didn't expect his granddaughter to be a master of the late phase of the golden class at such a young age. He himself was only at the peak of the late phase of the golden class, right? Grandpa, you didn't hear wrongly. I really did break through the barrier again, and I'm at golden class late phase peak now. And I'm at golden class late phase peak, just one step away from Mystic. Lingshan felt sweet and emotional at the same time. It was a barrier that many people worked so hard to reach, but Linyi had broken through it just like that. The feeling Lin Yi gave Lingshan was that he was getting more and more mysterious, stronger and stronger. As far as she knew, there weren't many noble houses that could forcefully raise people's strength. Even if there were, they wouldn't be able to raise people's strength by one level and still be able to stand up and speak without any problems. What? You're a golden class late phase peak full circle now? Xiangwen was even more shocked after hearing his granddaughter's word. He wasn't even at golden class late phase peak full circle, but Lingshan was already there. Grandpa, don't be doubtful. I wouldn't joke about something like this, Lingshan said with certainty. That's true. Shanshan, you never joke around with Grandpa. Xiangwen nodded, a little emotional. Shanshan, I really didn't think that you'd become the pride of our house. Grandpa, don't worry, I'll work hard, Lingshan said after some hesitation. But in her heart, she knew that no matter how hard she tried, it wouldn't be as effective as Lin Yi forcefully raising her strength. Yeah, I know, but you're a girl, and you'll have to get married eventually. But with your strength, it'll be hard for you to find someone stronger than you, Xiangwen said worriedly. Grandpa, I've said it before. My future husband has to be stronger than me. He has to be a man with an indomitable spirit. I won't change that, Lingshan said firmly. All right, since that's what you think, I won't force it. But I'll keep an eye out for you. Xiangwen nodded, thinking that this was a good thing. If Lingshan's man was stronger than her, it would be a good thing for House Song as well. Grandpa. It's okay. Lingshan blushed. She already had someone she liked, but their relationship was a little messy. Lingshan didn't want to be honest with him yet. With Lin Yi's strength, Lingshan didn't think that she could interfere with Lin Yi or change anything about Lin Yi. She couldn't let Lin Yi abandon Tang Yun and only love her. From Lingshan's perspective, that was impossible. She didn't even dare think about it. It was already good enough that she wasn't pressured by Lin Yi, and she still dared to ask Lin Yi for help. But, the eldest granddaughter of House Song going to be someone else's mistress? If word got out, wouldn't they become a laughingstock? Of course, unless Lin Yi had absolute strength that could shut those people up and make them envious of Lingshan for being Lin Yi's mistress. Other people wanted it, but Lin Yi didn't want it. Lin Yi, could you do it? Lingshan was looking forward to it. She wasn't a shameless woman. She could let go of her pride in front of Lin Yi because it was something between two people. It was like flirting between lovers. No one else could see it, so it didn't matter. But in front of outsiders, she couldn't do it. Lingshan had her pride, and she was a very strong and proud woman. Lingshan's words, in Xiangwen's eyes, were just acting coquettishly. He laughed. It's fine, I'll keep an eye out for you. See if there are any good young men. All right, Grandpa, let's talk later. I need to take a shower. I just broke through, and I'm already soaked in sweat. Lingshan didn't want to continue this topic. All right, go. If there's any good news, you have to tell Grandpa first. Xiangwen said happily as he hung up. Chapter 1086. House Yu's plans, of course, unless Lingshan never married, or if she found a useless grandson-in-law, but this was in line with House Song's interest. As far as Xiangwen was concerned, with Lingshan's strength, she'd definitely find a stronger man. But the most important thing right now was to tell House Yu this good news. The Noble House meeting this year was about to begin, and Lingshan's breakthrough had, without a doubt, increased House Song's position in the Noble House meeting. The strength of a noble house needed to be evaluated in a comprehensive manner. The strongest person was one aspect, and so was the wealth, but the most important aspect was the strength of the younger generation. After all, the younger generation was the hope of the noble house. And Lingshan, without a doubt, had become the strongest person other than that mysterious disciple of House Yu. Although House Yu had been in a lot of trouble recently, with Yu Bide getting killed and Yu Kuan getting crippled, it didn't affect House Yu's position. From House Song's perspective, there was a hidden house behind House Yu, and they had to stand up for House Yu. Plus, House Yu had an Earth class who went to a hidden house to train, and this was the foundation of House Yu. Losing Yu Bide and Yu Kuan wasn't much. House Yu couldn't hide this even if they wanted to. Which noble house didn't have their own information channels? But, in the eyes of these noble houses, Those who went against House Yu had to be tired of living to actually make a move against House Yu. One could only imagine the consequences. Hello. Hello. Shurashing picked up the phone. He hadn't been in a good mood lately, because of Yu Bide and Yu Kuan's situation. Now that Yu Feng had left, he was a lone general in House Yu. Yu Feng, on the other hand, didn't have any good news, and it gave Shurashing a bad feeling. Could it be that Lin Yi was too mysterious and hard to investigate? Otherwise, with Yu Feng's methods, he'd be able to get some information, right? As for House Yu, his big brother didn't make any moves, and he didn't know if he'd come out of seclusion. This put Shurashing in a difficult position. He even regretted it. If he didn't send Xiao Kuan to Songshan to search for the map fragments, then this wouldn't have happened. Lin Yi's strength had exceeded House Yu's expectations. House Yu seemed to have provoked an enemy they shouldn't have. However, what was the use of regretting now? Since he was already dead, he still had to take revenge. Mr. Yu. I'm Song Xiangguen. According to seniority, Xiangguen was Shurashing's elder, but House Yu was like the sun in the sky right now, and Shurashing was the current head of House Yu. He was on the same level as Xiangguen in the noble house meeting, maybe even a little higher, so Xiangguen had no choice but to call him Mr. Yu. Greetings, Patriarch Song. Shurashing's attitude improved upon hearing that it was Song Xiangguen. He wasn't happy, but he knew that he couldn't vent his anger in front of another house head. House Yu was in trouble now, and he had to protect House Yu's benefits. He couldn't afford to offend other noble houses, especially a house like House Song, a house with a certain level of strength. He had to win them over to protect House Yu's position as a noble house. From the looks of it, the hidden house's attitude was very ambiguous. They didn't say anything about coming forward, but they didn't say that they wouldn't. Shurashing had to think of a way himself. At the very least, House Yu had to be the leader of the noble houses in the upcoming meeting, and he had to have the right to speak. Hey, Mr. Yu, I have good news to share with you. My granddaughter Shanshan has successfully broken through to the peak of the late phase of the golden class, and she's at the peak of the late phase. Xiangguen smiled happily. Before the aristocratic family assembly was held, each family would inform the organizer of the aristocratic family assembly of their strength. This was also to prepare for the seating arrangement of the aristocratic family assembly. The stronger ones would naturally sit at the top. Oh, Lingshan? She's golden class late phase peak already? Shurashing paused. He remembered that Xiangguen had told him that Lingshan had just broken through to golden class late phase, right? How long had it been, and she'd already reached golden class late phase peak already? Didn't that mean that she was only one step away from mystic early phase? Shurashing was very surprised by Lingshan's increase in strength. The girls of the other noble houses were all Shurashing's target. He didn't pay attention to them because he was a pervert, but because he wanted to find a suitable girl for his son to marry. This was to solidify House Yu's position. Lingshan, Yu Shu, Sun Jingyi, and Liu Jinghan were all targets of Shurashing's observation. It wasn't that the other noble houses had these three girls, but that only these girls who were around Yu Feng's age were suitable. Of course, the first one Shurashing excluded was Yu Shu. In House Yu's eyes, House Chen was basically done for. With Elder Chen's death, Yu Qian's mediocre strength wasn't enough for House Chen to stand firm. Plus, Yu Shu wasn't a practitioner, so she had no value at all. In other words, it would be nice to have her as a concubine for his son to play with, but not as a legal wife. And so, the remaining targets were Lingshan, Sun Jingyi, and Liu Jinghan. Liu Jinghan had shown her talent in business, but according to the data, she wasn't a practitioner. House Liu was a business family, and they didn't have any practitioners. And so, Liu Jinghan was excluded as well. Only Lingshan and Sun Jingyi were left. Lingshan and Sun Jingyi were both true practitioners, but there was a huge difference between the two. House Song's kung fu was a normal kung fu, but it could assist in dual practitioning, increasing her husband's strength. But the effects of dual practitioning depended on the practitioner's physique, and everyone was different. House Sun's kung fu, on the other hand, was a healing art. House Sun's kung fu could heal wounds, and it could also convert qi to be used by others. And, from a noble house's perspective, House Sun's kung fu was more stable. Although they weren't good at attacking, this type of support kung fu was very popular. Which noble house didn't want a mobile hospital and a mobile training room? Marrying Sun Jingyi meant that she could assist Yu Feng in his training and healing. At that time, even if Yu Feng's meridians were damaged like Yu Kuan, he could recover slowly with Sun Jingyi's help. Chapter 1087. Marriage between Song and Yu. But now, Shiraixing was changing his mind. Lingshan's progress was out of his expectations. Right now, Lingshan was only one step away from mystic. If she were to marry into House Yu, it would definitely be a good thing for them. Plus, House Song's kung fu would only be more effective after dual practicing, benefiting both genders. At that time, Lingshan's breakthrough to mystic would be unstoppable, and his son would be able to take a step further, reaching mystic mid-phase peak, maybe even late phase. House Yu would rise to glory once more. With time, his son would break through to Earth class with Lingshan's help, and he wouldn't have to be afraid of anything then. Lin Yi and what not, he'd be able to kill them straight away. Mystic class was nothing in front of an Earth class. Shiraixing had heard that some ancient sects had their own arts that allowed them to fight enemies above their level, but those were just legends. Who knew if they actually existed? And so, in Shiraixing's dictionary, Earth class was an invincible existence in the common world. Congratulations, Elder Song. Shiraixing's tone became more respectful at the thought of the marriage, and he called Xiangwen Elder Song. He took out the attitude that a junior should have, and no longer addressed him as the Song clan master in a formal manner. Haha, it's all right. Xiangwen pretended to be humble, but she's still a girl, after all. Other houses will have to take advantage of her in the future. Haha, you're too serious, Elder Song. Shiraixing smiled. The times have changed, and we noble houses have to keep up with the times as well. There's a saying that says it doesn't matter if you give birth to a boy or a girl. Lingshan, getting married doesn't mean she's not your granddaughter, Elder Song. She still is. Haha. Song Xiangwen also smiled and said, that may be the case, but in the end, the person in charge of the family is still a man. We can't let an outsider take advantage of us, can we? That's right, we noble houses are different. Shiraixing smiled. Since we're talking about marriage, I thought of something. Your granddaughter isn't young anymore, right? It's about time for her to find a husband, right? That's true, but Shanshan is a stubborn child. She has already said that her future husband must be stronger than her. Song Xiangwen said helplessly but proudly. If it was someone else, they wouldn't be qualified to say such word. Now that Lingshan was in a dominant position, he had to do this. Hehe, all outstanding girls are like this. Shiraixing was naturally happy to hear that Lingshan didn't have a husband yet, but I think Lingshan's the best out of all the noble houses, right? How could there be someone stronger than her? As far as I know, there aren't any late-phase golden class peak disciples from other noble houses. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about too. Xiangwen sighed. Shanshan's getting stronger and stronger, and she's about to break through to mystic. At that time, there'll be no one who can fight her. She can't just stay unmarried for the rest of her life, can she? Having another mystic in House Song was a good thing, but Lingshan wouldn't be able to bring more benefits to House Song if she didn't marry. Besides, he didn't want his granddaughter to be alone for the rest of her life. There were two sides to every coin. On one hand, Xiangwen wanted Lingshan to become stronger, but on the other hand, he didn't want her to be single. Hehe, Elder Song, what do you think of my son? Shiraixing was waiting for Xiangwen to say this, and so he brought up his own opinion. Oh, your son? Xiangwen paused. Yes, Shiraixing said. From the looks of it, the only ones who are stronger than Lingshan are the disciples of House Yu. If you're willing, we can get married. Ah. Xiangwen paused. He didn't think that even House Yu would throw him an olive branch. Xiangwen didn't even dare think about a marriage with House Yu before, but now that Lingshan's strength had increased, it was all a reality. What's wrong, Elder Song? You don't seem too willing. Shiraixing smiled. Why would I? I was just shocked. Right, your son has never appeared in public before, Xiangwen was thinking that a marriage with House Yu would be great, but if House Yu's disciples were too weak, then Lingshan wouldn't agree to it. He had to make things clear first. My son is a mystic mid-phase. Shurashing couldn't help but feel proud. Among the noble houses, only the younger generation of House Yu had reached this level. What? Your son is already a mystic mid-phase. Xiangwen couldn't help but jump at Shurashing's word. This meant that a mystic mid-phase was more than enough for his granddaughter. With that thought, Xiangwen couldn't help but be overjoyed. Not only did he get a rare grandson-in-law, he even got a super helper like House Yu. Haha, he's probably breaking through soon. Shurashing started bragging. A mystic at such a young age. Xiangwen couldn't help but sigh. I'm really getting old. So, what do you think of my suggestion, Elder Song? Shurashing asked. Not bad. I have no objections. Xiangwen, naturally, was 100% satisfied. This was a blessing from the heavens. House Song's problem was solved. As long as they had House Yu's support, House Song would be able to continue being one of the noble houses. Plus, Yu Feng's strength completely met his granddaughter's requirements. His granddaughter would definitely be satisfied. Alright, if Elder Song has no objections, then it's settled. Shurashing said, in a few days, I'll bring my son over to visit Elder Song, and then we'll settle this. Shurashing may be the head of House Yu, but he was still a junior, and now that he had a marriage with House Song, Elder Song was a senior. Naturally, he had to pay her a visit. Song Xiangwen didn't refuse. Okay, I will do my best as a host. Song Xiangwen said happily. Lingshan still didn't know that her marriage had been settled by her grandpa, just like that. She'd probably be pissed to death if she knew. How could she marry into House Yu? Xiangwen, however, thought that his granddaughter would be satisfied. Chapter 1088. Chapter 1086. Xie Yufeng's gloominess. Xie Yufeng had been quite troubled these past few days. He hadn't even gotten to know Lin Yi's background yet, and he was already at a disadvantage. Not only did he get beaten up for no reason, but his butt was also messed up. And so, he didn't report this to his father. It was embarrassing enough already, and he didn't want to report it. He didn't think that his father would call before Xie Yufeng even reported it. Yufeng hesitated for a bit before picking it up. Hello, father, Yufeng said. Yufeng, how are you? You've been in Songshan for so many days, are you used to it? Shurashing asked with a smile. His son was his pride, the pride of House Yu. House Yu's future depended on him. It's all right. Yufeng was visibly stunned as he said this. He didn't have the face to talk to his father. This was too embarrassing. He was the young master of House Yu, and he had come to Songshan full of ambition, ready to make a name for himself, but he didn't expect to be so unlucky. He didn't even get to do anything with Lin Yi before getting beaten up by someone he didn't know. If he really were beaten up by Lin Yi, then Yufeng wouldn't say anything. He'd just have to take a little loss in order to investigate Lin Yi's background. But the problem was that Lin Yi didn't make a move. How is it? Have you figured out Lin Yi's background? Shurashing didn't hear the disappointment in his son's voice, still smiling as he asked. Not yet. There aren't any openings, I can't make a move. Yufeng said, troubled. I feel like I don't know where to start. Oh. It's fine, just stay in Songshan for now, I have other things to do anyway. Shurashing wasn't in a rush. Other things? Yufeng paused. Is there anything else? Haha, of course. Yufeng, you're not young anymore, I've arranged a marriage for you, Shurashing said with a smile. Marriage? Yufeng paused. He didn't object to the family's decision. He grew up in a noble house, and he knew that his marriage was just a bargaining chip. It would be decided by his father. Of course, Xie Yufeng didn't care. He was a man. Even if he married a wife he didn't like and wasn't pretty, he could still keep a mistress. This wasn't a secret among the young masters of the noble houses, so the most tragic part of marriage was the woman. Not to mention marrying a man she didn't like, it was possible for her to be alone in an empty house, and it was impossible for her to have an affair. Things were just so unfair. When a man cheated, it was called being romantic and elegant. When a woman cheated, it was called not being virtuous. So Yufeng didn't care about the marriage at all. What does this have to do with me being in Songshan? Yes, the girl I've arranged for you is House Song's granddaughter, Lingshan. She's already at golden class late phase peak. Shurashing smiled. This kid's not bad, He's quite talented, reaching golden class late phase peak at such a young age. I have high hopes for him. Lingshan? Yufeng reacted when he heard the name. Song Lingshan from House Song. I think I've met her once. She's not bad. How was it just okay? Yufeng was overjoyed when he heard that the girl was Lingshan. Lingshan wasn't just pretty, she had a great body, and her breasts were huge. Yufeng wanted to laugh up his sleeve. With a beauty like this as his wife, he'd be in for it. Yufeng originally didn't have much interest in the girl he was going to marry. After all, House Yu cared about the whole benefit if they got an ugly girl, he'd have no choice but to accept it. As long as they kept the marriage going, he'd look at this girl once in a while, and the rest of the time, he'd go play. But his father's words ignited the fire of desire in Yufeng's heart. He was just too lucky. Ian, I think it's not a bad idea. She's working in Songshan's police station right now, so I think you should stay in Songshan and interact with her for a bit. After a while, when Lin Yi's matter is over, you can come with me to visit House Song and ask for her hand in marriage. Shueishing said. All right, no problem. Yufeng quickly agreed. To him, this was an unexpected surprise. He was just worrying about how boring life was in Songshan, and now he had something to do. Hitting on girls had always been Yufeng's favorite. It'd be best if you can have some sort of relationship with her in advance and solidify your relationship. Otherwise, the granddaughter of House Song is very outstanding, and I'm afraid that she'll be targeted. Shueishing reminded. I heard that House Chen's Chen Yutian has been chasing after Lingshan for a couple of years now. House Song's Kung Fu is a top-level practitioner's practitioner. It'll be good for you too. I know, don't worry, Dad, I'll take care of this. Yufeng was afraid that his father would want him to treat Lingshan politely before the marriage, but now his father was telling him to find a chance to sleep with Lingshan. Ian, right, how's your Kung Fu? Have you made any progress? You've been stuck at Mystic Early Phase Peak for a while now, right? Are there any signs of a breakthrough? Shueishing asked. Not yet. Yufeng had been so depressed these past 2 days he didn't have the mood to train at all. I've already told everyone that you're a mystic mid-phase, don't let that slip in front of Lingshan, Shueishing warned. Oh. Why did you say I'm mystic mid-phase? Yufeng paused. House Song's old madam, Lingshan's grandmother, is a mystic mid-phase, so I purposely told everyone that you're mystic mid-phase, so that you can have a bigger say in House Song, Shueishing said. Yufeng paused, understanding his father's intentions immediately. He couldn't help but sigh. The older the ginger, the spicier it was. His father was truly cunning. In the noble houses, strength was the deciding factor, and the higher the strength, the more power one had. In House Song, if Yufeng had the same strength as old Madam Song, then he'd be on the same level as old Madam Song. Yufeng's position in House Song would skyrocket. But won't that give me away? Yufeng asked, a little hesitant. No, they won't check your strength. If you don't circulate your qi, how would they know? Shueishing said nonchalantly. Plus, there's still some time before you get married, you might have broken through by then. Chapter 1089. Together on a trip. This phone call made Yufeng quite happy his father had given him another rather pleasant mission. Yufeng's gloomy mood was swept away. As for Lin Yi's investigation, his father didn't set a time limit, and he didn't mention much about it this time either. The main thing was for him to do with Lingshan. Yufeng really liked this mission. Old Song's Yanggwen, on the other hand, wanted to give his granddaughter a surprise, so he didn't tell her about the marriage. As far as Yanggwen was concerned, she'd be very happy after hearing this news. After all, Lingshan's wish was for a man stronger than her, and this man, as far as Yanggwen was concerned, had to be someone from House Yu. Other noble houses' heirs wouldn't be this strong. Lin Yi didn't know that Lingshan's happy call would attract so much trouble. When Lin Yi walked out of Lingshan's apartment, it was already very late. The night breeze cleared his mind quite a bit. Lingshan's temptation almost made Lin Yi lose control. Ever since he blended into this relaxed life, Lin Yi realized that his heart had changed. He was no longer as cold and emotionless as before, and he no longer had a heart of stone. The him now was much more easily moved. Life seemed to have become more interesting, but Lin Yi really didn't know if this was a good thing or a bad thing. After getting in the car, Lin Yi drove home, but on the way there, he was thinking about a very important problem. As of now, Lin Yi's biggest weakness was that he didn't have enough helpers. One could say that out of all the practitioners Lin Yi had, the strongest was himself. Although Lin Yi really wanted to bring Forbert, Weiwu, and Lingshan to higher levels, he couldn't do anything. The energy in the jade space was endless, but if he used his body as a medium to transfer it, there would be a bottleneck. This bottleneck came from one's own strength. He was a mystic, and he could only bring others up to golden class late phase peak, not one bit more. So, if he wanted to make others stronger, then Lin Yi had to become stronger first. Only when Lin Yi broke through to Earth class could he bring the people around him to mystic. But this made Lin Yi feel like it was useless. He was already an Earth class master, and having a mystic class master as a helper wouldn't be as effective. If he could let others directly absorb the energy in the jade space, then that would be great. But even if they could, Lin Yi didn't want others to know his secret. This secret was his trump card, and those who could share it with him had to be the ones closest to him. If Tang Yun was also a practitioner, then Lin Yi wouldn't hesitate to share this secret with her. Lin Yi was very clear about Tang Yun's feelings for him. She was a girl who would never leave him, and even wanted to drop out of school to accompany him back to his hometown to farm. But other people, Lin Yi didn't have enough trust. Of course, even if he trusted them, Lin Yi couldn't let them directly absorb the energy in the jade space. If he could release and transfer the energy out of the jade space, then it would be easy, but Lin Yi was just thinking about it. When he got back to the villa, Lin Yi saw Meng Yarrow and Yu Shu sitting in front of the coffee table, flipping through a bunch of posters. For the first time, they weren't watching TV. Seeing that Lin Yi was back, the miss only nodded. She didn't show any joy or dissatisfaction. Lin Yi was already used to this. The miss had this kind of cold personality. On the other hand, Yu Shu called out impatiently, "Shield bro, what took you so long? Come and help me and Yarrow sis. Where are we going to play? Where are we going to play?" Lin Yi was slightly surprised. He walked to the sofa beside Yu Shu and sat down. He asked curiously, "Play what?" "There's a long holiday for May Day. Yarrow sis and I are planning to go out and play." "Shield bro, where do you think we should go?" Yu Shu explained as she pointed at the posters on the coffee table. "Yarrow sis and I are a little dizzy. Can you help us take a look?" May Day holiday? Lin Yi suddenly remembered that May Day was International Labor Day. It was a legal holiday. It turned out that he had become a normal person. The Lin Yi of the past didn't have holidays. When there was a mission, no matter when, Lin Yi had to throw himself into work. When there was no mission, it was a holiday. So Lin Yi was very indifferent to the concept of holidays. It wasn't until Yu Shu said this that he realized that he was a student now. Naturally, he had to have a holiday. "Yeah." Yu Shu nodded and passed a bunch of posters to Lin Yi. "Where do you guys want to go?" Lin Yi didn't look at the posters. He put them aside and said, "The advertisements on them are a little exaggerated. It doesn't matter whether I look at them or not. But on May Day, my medicine company is opening. I can't leave. You two go. Then we'll go on May 2nd. It's a couple of days off anyway." Yu Shu said casually, "Right, Yarrow sis?" "Yeah." "Lin Yi, I meant to invite Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao. Let's go together." Meng Yarrow nodded and looked at Lin Yi. The miss words surprised Lin Yi. He didn't expect her to invite Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao. But then again, the miss had always been a reasonable person. Lin Yi wasn't surprised that she made this decision. It was just that she said it herself and not through Yu Shu. That was why Lin Yi felt weird. "Sure, but I saw Xiao Xiao's phone. She wants to go to the beach to watch the sunrise. Why don't we go on a tour there?" "We won't go with the tour group." Lin Yi remembered Xiao Xiao's wish to watch the sunrise and eat poached eggs. But thinking about it made Lin Yi feel confused and amused. Lin Yi didn't get it. What was the connection between watching the sunrise and eating poached eggs? How did Xiao Xiao connect these two things together? "Sure." Meng Yarrow didn't object. "You arrange it then." "Oh, that's great. I can go catch sharks again." Yu Shu clapped her hands. She was very supportive of going to the beach. Chapter 1090. Chapter 1088, House Chumingyao, on the other hand, picked up the posters. Looking at Lin Yi's back, Meng Yaro had an indescribable feeling in her heart. Lin Yi was spending less and less time in the villa, especially during the weekends. Lin Yi used to be at home with her and Shu, but now, he was leaving early and coming back late. Meng Yaro knew that she couldn't interfere with Lin Yi's actions, but she still felt a little disappointed. Yaro, what's wrong? You look disappointed. Yu Shu said with a smile as she looked at the unhappy Meng Yaro. Is it because Shield Bro hasn't been in the villa all day? Don't say that, I'm not disappointed. Lin Yi has things to do, and Xiaoxiao's days are numbered. I'm not someone who doesn't see the big picture. Even if he doesn't do his job as a follower, it's fine. Meng Yaro said faintly. Actually, Yaro, you can pretend to be sick too, Yu Shu suggested. That way, Shield Bro can stay with you. What nonsense are you talking about? Pretend if you want to. Meng Yaro glared at her and turned on the TV. Yu Shu's idea was too unreliable. Who was Lin Yi? He was a medical expert, after all. If Lin Yi found out that she was pretending, wouldn't she become a laughingstock? Meng Yaro wouldn't do something that stupid. In a dark room in the Dark Palace, the palace master WNA sat on the bed, spacing out. Who knew what she was thinking? It's been so many days. How were they doing? Did they resolve the conflict with House Yu, Xiao family, and the hidden House Zhao? She was worried, but there was nothing she could do. She was locked up by the Grand Elder, and there were two elders who were no weaker than her guarding the room. She couldn't escape at all. Sometimes, WNA wanted to die, but she knew that she couldn't. If she died, who would avenge her husband and daughter? Since things had come to this, she could only practice harder and break through to the heaven stage as soon as possible so that she could leave the mountain and take revenge for her husband and daughter. The sound of footsteps came from outside the door. WNA froze. It wasn't time to eat. Logically speaking, the elder who was guarding her outside would not enter her room. Now that there were footsteps outside, there was no doubt that someone was coming. As expected, not long after, the room door was pushed open and the ones who entered were the Grand Elder and Elder Li. Grand Elder, Elder Li. WNA hated the Grand Elder for putting her under house arrest, but she didn't show any disrespect in front of her. After all, she knew that while the Grand Elder was stubborn and heartless, everything she did was for the good of the Dark Palace. She never got married in her life because she gave all her energy to the Palace of Darkness. Even in her dreams, she wanted the Palace of Darkness to become the #1 palace in the martial world. WNA, you can leave now. The Great Elder announced her decision. WNA heard the Great Elder's words and froze. She didn't think that the Great Elder would let her go. She couldn't help but look at Elder Li in surprise. Was it because of his hard work? Elder Li saw that WNA was looking at him and couldn't help but smile bitterly. Congratulations, Palace Master, the son-in-law and the young miss, The Grand Elder interrupted before Elder Li could finish. What son-in-law? Where's the son-in-law from? Elder Li heard the Grand Elder's words and felt a little awkward. He quickly changed his words. It's Mr. Chu Pengzhan and Miss Chu Mengyao. They're fine now, they're safe. WNA cried out in surprise. She couldn't help but be overjoyed. The worries she had for days were all gone. They were finally safe and sound. WNA couldn't contain her joy. Elder Li, did you do it? No, I was wrong this time. Lin Yi wasn't injured. The common house Yu's brother, Yu Bide, was killed by Lin Yi, and the Xiao family's guardian, Uncle Pai, was turned into a vegetable by Lin Yi. House Chu's crisis is solved. Elder Li said. That's great. The palace master let out a breath of relief. This Lin Yi isn't simple. I didn't think that he would be able to solve this crisis. Wasn't he injured? Maybe he was faking it to make his opponents jump out. Elder Li didn't know the crux of the matter. After all, even the people involved, House Yu and the Xiao family, didn't know the details. Naturally, Elder Li didn't know the crux of the matter. Just a few mystic class clowns. They're nothing. The Grand Elder didn't think much of Lin Yi. She only frowned and said disapprovingly, WNA, you can leave now. With that, The Grand Elder turned and left. In fact, she was a bit depressed. Why didn't the bastard and the adulterer die? After he died, WNR would have nothing to worry about, and she could break through to sky class without emotions. To a cultivator, it was never a good thing to be shackled by emotions. She was a heartless person. She had never been in love, and she didn't know how lovers felt. To her, feelings were all lies. Only strength mattered. After the Grand Elder left, Elder Lee let out a sigh of relief. Miss, the Grand Elder has always been like this. Don't hold a grudge against her, I know. Why would I hold a grudge? Her thoughts are different from mine, but her intentions are good. She did it for the Palace of Darkness. Yes. Elder Lee nodded and lowered his voice. Miss, although this time, the young miss and the young master made it through safely, but because of this, they've become enemies with House Yu and Xiao family. The hidden House Yu behind House Yu, I wonder if they'll come out and help them? As for the Xiao family's Uncle Pai, his background is not to be underestimated. His family is also a hidden house, and they have the support of the Sky Elixir sect. The Sky Elixir sect and the Palace of Darkness have always been at odds, I'm afraid this time. Wana thought that everything was over, but she didn't expect that it was just the beginning. House Yu had the hidden House Yu behind them. Among all the hidden houses, the hidden House Yu was the strongest, and was no weaker than an ancient sect. Chapter 1091. Chapter 1089, Deep as the Sea. Chapter 1089, Deep as the sea. Once inside the palace gate, it is as deep as the sea. Didn't that mean that Pengzhan and Meng Yaro were still in danger? How should they deal with this? Thinking about this, Wana couldn't help but show a trace of anxiety on her face. She had regained her freedom, but there was nothing she could do. She couldn't just leave the mountain and stay with Pengzhan and Meng Yaro, could she? Plus, she might have regained her freedom, but whether or not she could leave the mountain was still unknown. She believed that the Grand Elder had already ordered her not to leave the mountain. Miss, we can't do anything about this right now. Fortunately, the hidden House Yu hasn't made any moves yet, and Uncle Pai's hidden house doesn't seem to know about this either. Elder Lee sighed. Right now, we can only wait and see. But, the biggest threat to House Chu right now isn't House Yu and Uncle Pai's hidden house, but something else. Uncle Lee, why are there other troubles? The palace master, asked worriedly. From what I know, Ma Zhu's Shifu, Jin Wudi, has already submitted an application to the Hidden House Council, preparing to come out and cause trouble for Lin Yi, to avenge his disciple. When that happens, it's hard to say whether or not House Chu will be affected. Elder Lee sighed, his face serious as he nodded. But what should we do? How strong is Ma Zhu's Shifu? Wano asked. According to my investigation, he's an Earth class, early phase Earth class. Elder Lee said, plus, once his application is approved by the council, that Lin Yi won't be his match. Elder Lee, Wano begs you, could you inform Yaro's bodyguard, Lin Yi, about this as soon as possible? So that he can prepare for this. Wano knew that Elder Lee couldn't do anything, and she couldn't leave the mountain. She could only send the message through the Dark Shadow group, and while they were skilled in Qinggong, they weren't very strong. They couldn't be of much help at all, and the only thing they could do was send the message. Don't worry, miss. This old servant can still do it. In the Dark Shadow group, this old servant still has direct subordinates. This old servant will pass this news to Lin Yi as soon as possible. Elder Lee nodded and said, that's the only way. Sorry to trouble you, Uncle Lee. Wana said helplessly. A trace of deep worry and sorrow flashed across her pretty face. As the saying goes, once you enter the palace gate, you will find yourself in the four seas. Although this palace was different from the other palace, there was no difference in principle. An off-road vehicle was driving on a mountain road with difficulty. Pin Liang was the driver, and Xiaofu was in the passenger seat. Brother Liang, we're going to see Pao soon. I'm so excited. Gao Xiaofu said as he looked out of the window. Don't talk nonsense later. There are martial arts masters here, and we're nothing in their eyes. Don't cause trouble. Pin Liang warned Xiaofu calmly. Don't worry, Liang bro, I know what I'm doing. Xiaofu nodded. He felt that Pin Liang had become a lot more introverted recently. He wasn't as arrogant as before, and was becoming more and more like Lin Yi's calmness. Pin Liang nodded and didn't say anything else. He continued driving. Half an hour later, the car stopped in front of a checkpoint. It wasn't a regular checkpoint, but one set up by the sect on the mountain. This place wasn't a tourist spot, nor was it a main road. People who weren't sent here wouldn't pass through here. "What are you here for?" A young man in black walked over and knocked on Pin Liang's window. Pin Liang quickly opened the window and said respectfully, "Hello, we're here to visit Zhong Naipao." "Zhong Naipao? Your brother Naipao's friends?" The young man became respectful the moment he heard Naipao's name, and his attitude towards Pin Liang became much friendlier as well. "Yes, we're Naipao's brothers. We're here to visit brother Naipao." Pin Liang nodded, a little shocked inside. It seemed like Naipao was doing quite well here. Pin Liang had learned how to read people's body language now, and he knew that this young man was very respectful towards Naipao. That was why he was being respectful towards Pin Liang as well. Pin Liang knew the rules here very well. The only way to gain respect was with your own strength. This person called Naipao brother, but treated him with such respect. The only explanation was that Naipao was very strong. He was already stronger than many of his brothers. At the thought, Pin Liang couldn't help but feel excited. It seemed like he was right about Naipao. He didn't think that Naipao was a practitioner as well. Pin Liang couldn't wait to find out just how high Naipao's training had reached. "Brother Zhong, stand guard here for a bit. I'll bring them up the mountain. They're brother Naipao's friends," the young man said to another man not far away. The other man's face turned serious upon hearing Naipao's name. He nodded. "All right, leave it to me." The road above was closed, and Pin Liang and Xiaofu got off the car and followed the young man up the mountain. After a while, Pin Liang and Xiaofu's stamina was visibly drained, but the young man was running like he wasn't bothered by the rugged path at all. In fact, as the lowest-ranked patrolling disciple, he had to run up and down the mountain a couple of times a day. This was something he was used to. "Bro, your stamina is pretty good, but we can't," Pin Liang said, panting. "I'm just the lowest-ranked disciple, but brother Naipao, haha, he's much stronger than me," the young man said enviously. Pin Liang was even more surprised after hearing the man's words. He didn't know what Naipao was capable of, but it seemed like he was doing quite well here. This guy had already praised him a couple of times. If it wasn't for the fact that he was really powerful, it was fine to compliment him once, but he wouldn't have complimented him so many times. "Is Naipao very strong now?" Xiaofu couldn't help but ask. Chapter 1092. Up the mountain. The more the young man said, the more shocked Pin Liang and Xiaofu were. It seemed like Naipao had paid a huge price for his training. The mountain path was a little rough at the beginning, but it was a smooth path after that. The closer they got to the gate, the easier it was. This place must have been specially built. "We're here." The young man pointed at the mountain gate not too far away. "You may be Junior Naipao's friends, but according to the sect's rules, outsiders have to report first before they can enter. Come with me to register." "All right." Pin Liang, naturally, didn't dare act rashly. This was a powerful existence, after all, and he didn't dare show any disrespect. Pin Liang and Naipao followed the young man to register their identities and undergo a strength check. After confirming that there was nothing suspicious, the young man led the two into the gate. In actuality, with the strength of the sect, they weren't afraid of people coming to attack them at all. Who'd have the guts to attack an ancient sect? It was one of the evilest sects in the ancient sects, too, the everyday sect. This was an existence even stronger than the hidden houses. Even the other righteous sects had to respect them, let alone someone who dared come here to attack them. But rules were rules, and this was a tradition that had been passed down for many years. Pin Liang saw a lot of disciples practicing martial arts as soon as he entered the mountain gate. It was a sight that made him envious. "These are the most normal outer disciples, not even as strong as me. They're just beginners," the young man explained faintly, as if reading Pin Liang's mind. "These people aren't talented enough, and they can only practice some basic physical skills. They don't want to suffer, so their achievements are limited." "Oh." Pin Liang nodded. "Then Naipao is an inner disciple, and he was personally taken in as a disciple by Master Kwangyo, Mr. Ihung. The young man was even more envious now. Master Kwangyo? Pinliang blinked. He's the chief enforcer of our everyday and everyday sect, a super strong man, the young man said respectfully. He once killed a sky class from a righteous sect with a single punch. Ha! Pinliang sucked in a breath of cold air. From his point of view, mystic-ranked masters were already super invincible. How could there be someone here who could kill a Heaven Realm master? Wouldn't that make him invincible? Pinliang couldn't help but get excited at the thought. This meant that Nai Pao had gotten Master Kwangyo's favor, and as long as he learned 10% of Master Kwangyo's strength, killing Lin Yi would be a piece of cake. Mph, that's right. That's the chief protector of our sect. How could it be a joke? The young man said proudly. Of course, he was bragging a little, and Zhong Pinliang didn't know about it. Pinliang was shocked, but he kept a straight face. Xiaofu, on the other hand, was grinning from ear to ear. He didn't expect Nai Pao's sect to be this strong. Back when Heibao Bro was beaten to a pulp by Lin Yi, Xiaofu was traumatized. He thought that Heibao Bro was just SOSO, but he didn't expect his sect to be this strong. It was just that Heibao Bro wasn't strong enough. Pinliang, on the other hand, was thinking about something else. He was thinking that Heibao Bro could use a practitioner's arts to forcefully raise his strength from a normal person to golden class early phase. This was a little too much. How could a sect with a technique like this be a normal sect? Although it required the sacrifice of one's life, other sects might not be able to do it, and so Pinliang had high hopes for Nai Pao. Of course, Pinliang didn't explain this to Xiaofu. After walking for a while, the three came to a very beautiful place. There were flowers everywhere, but no one was there. The scenery was beautiful, but Pinliang couldn't help but shiver. There was an evil presence here, and it made him very uncomfortable. Jiao Xiaofu was the same. He felt like he was trembling. This is the place. The young man came here, his face pale as well. He wasn't having a good time either. Nai Pao junior brother is practicing in front, but the evil energy here is too thick. I can't handle it with my strength, so I can only bring you here. Ah! It's so cold and evil here. Even you can't go in, how can we? Pinliang said carefully. Bro, maybe you can call for Nai Pao? Tell him to stop practicing and stop for a bit. No, interrupting Nai Pao junior brother's practicing is a huge offense. I wouldn't dare. The young man shook his head. Call him yourself if you want to. I can't take the blame if Nai Pao junior brother blames me. That's fine. Pinliang nodded. But you have to tell me first. Where is Nai Pao junior brother? Over there. The young man pointed not far away. That's Nai Pao junior brother. Huh. Pinliang paused and looked in the direction the young man was pointing. What he saw surprised him. What entered his eyes was a lump of black stuff. On the beautiful grass was a black object. If one didn't look closely, they'd think it was a reef, but this was the place the young man was talking about. Bro, you're talking about Nai Pao? Him? Pinliang was confused. Big bro, you mean Nai Pao? Yes. The young man nodded. Oh. Pinliang didn't know what to say, but he still called out to the black rock. Zhong Nai Pao. Nai Pao was practicing when he heard someone call him. He frowned, a little pissed off. After all, no one was allowed to disturb him when he was practicing. Even Kwangyo Grand Masters people had to wait until he was done before calling him. But this voice. It was very familiar. Nai Pao opened his eyes abruptly as he remembered the owner of the voice. He stood up abruptly and waved his hand, dispersing the black object on his body. It turned out that the black layer on Nai Pao's body was actually a swarm of black wasp. Chapter 1093. Chapter 1091. You've been tricked, Liang bro. Nai Pao stood up and ran towards the owner of the voice. It was obvious that he was extremely excited right now. Nai Pao. Pinliang didn't think that Nai Pao would have a layer of wasps on himself. It made his heart palpitate, and excited at the same time. It seemed like Nai Pao's kung fu was quite extraordinary. Seeing that Nai Pao's disciple knew who he was, the young man stepped back and said his goodbyes. He called Nai Pao disciple in the sect, but Nai Pao's position and strength had far surpassed his. Other than the fact that they were disciples, the two were completely different. Liang bro, I didn't think that you'd come to see me. Nai Pao, on the other hand, was very excited. He thought that he wouldn't be able to see Pin Liang again after going up the mountain, other than when he went down, but Pin Liang actually took the time to come see him. This was very touching. You're my brother, and you're training hard for me. Naturally, I have to come see you often, Pin Liang said solemnly. He'd learned how to win people's hearts a long time. He knew that Nai Pao would be of great use to him in the future. Naturally, he was very close to him. Liang bro, don't say that. You're my boss, and you always will be. If it weren't for you, my family would have died a long time ago. My life is yours. If you tell me to go east, I'll never go west. Nai Pao said solemnly. Good. Very good. Pao, I was right about you, Pin Liang said excitedly as he patted Nai Pao's shoulder. Right, Pao, what kind of kung fu are you training? Why's it so scary? There's so much evil energy around here. I'm training in the wasp absorption arts. Nai Pao didn't hide anything, telling Pin Liang what he was training in. Wasp absorption arts. Pin Liang blinked. Does that have anything to do with absorbing stars? Nope. Wasp absorption arts is a skill that absorbs bee venom. I'm using bee venom to increase my strength. Nai Pao explained, there's too little qi in the world right now, and it'd be hard to improve with normal training. Our day after day sect is a demonic sect, and we rely on absorbing evil poisons to quickly increase our strength. It's similar to absorbing true qi, but our cultivation process is much more arduous and difficult. I see. Pin Liang nodded. No wonder that Master Guangnyo was so strong, able to kill a sky-class master. There was a reason behind it. The martial arts they cultivated were all evil, different from the orthodox sect. Since you're from the devil sect, have there been any righteous sects that have come to cause trouble for you? Pin Liang asked subconsciously. He didn't need to hide his thoughts in front of Nai Pao. He could tell that Nai Pao really thought of him as his boss, so Pin Liang didn't need to hide anything. Righteous sect. Nai Pao smiled. Liang bro, you're talking about something from a wuxia novel, right? In reality, these sects prioritize their own interests. Why would they have the time to find trouble with us for no reason? Wasn't he crazy? He couldn't even take care of his own business. Why would he go find trouble with others? Plus, normal sects do a lot of dirty things as well. From what I know, the famous Sky Elixir sect is a sect that relies on plundering, killing, and pillaging. They specialize in doing evil things. I see. Pin Liang didn't know what was going on, but after hearing Nai Pao's explanation, he realized that he was overthinking things. The devil sect was a powerful sect as well. He was afraid that Nai Pao would become the public enemy of the sects, and if Lin Yi couldn't beat him, he'd join forces with the other righteous sects to wipe out the devil sect disciples. That wouldn't be good, but it seemed like there wouldn't be that much of a problem now. So you're practicing the wasp absorption arts now? What level are you at now? Pin Liang asked quickly. Liang bro, this wasp absorption arts is just a supplementary practitioner's art. My main skill is called the chrysanthemum arts, an exclusive skill of the day after day sect. After mastering it, I'll be invincible. Nai Pao didn't hide anything from Pin Liang. Chrysanthemum arts. Pin Liang paused. The name sounded really special, and it sounded really powerful. Can I learn it, Pao? Pin Liang asked. Can I learn it, Pao? Of course, but the process is very tiring. Here's the manual, why don't you take a look first? Nai Pao handed a book to Pin Liang. If Pin Liang really wanted to practice it, with Nai Pao's current position in the sect, he'd only need to say the word. Pin Liang didn't think that Nai Pao would be this easygoing, even giving him the manual. He quickly took it and flipped it open, but the first page gave him quite the shock. There were 8 words on the first page. To practice this skill, one must first castrate themselves. Pin Liang started sweating profusely. No way. He had to castrate himself to practice this skill? Wouldn't that make him a eunuch? Pow! Don't tell me you've already. Pin Liang said carefully as he pointed at the words on the book. That's right. Nai Pao sighed and nodded. I'm a eunuch now. Ah, then I guess I won't train anymore. Pinliang's face darkened as he shook his head. I'll be fine as long as I have a good brother like you to train with. I'll be relying on you from now on. No, Liang bro, I was too impatient back then. You can look at the last page. Naipao pointed at the chrysanthemum arts. Ah. All right. Pinliang nodded and picked up the chrysanthemum arts, flipping to the next page. There were 8 more words on the last page. Even castrating yourself may not succeed. That's... Pinliang was dumbfounded. There was a chance of failure. Even if he castrated himself, he might not succeed. All the more reason he couldn't practice this skill. What if he didn't succeed after castrating himself? Wouldn't that be even worse? There's more. Naipao pointed at the chrysanthemum arts. Ua. Pinliang paused and flipped to the 3rd page. There were 8 more words. Success without castrating yourself. Pinliang's eyes went wide. Seriously? Pow, you've been tricked. Chapter 1094. Chapter 1092. Careful. After hearing Naipao's words, even someone as calculative as Pinliang felt touched. This was a good brother of his. Pinliang patted Naipao's shoulder. You really are a good brother, Naipao. It's good that you've thought things through. I've thought it through a long time ago. If I hadn't been so ruthless as to castrate myself, I wouldn't have been able to gain the favor of Patriarch Mad Bull. He took me in as an in-name disciple and taught me the wasp absorption technique. Naipao shook his head nonchalantly. Liang bro, there's always a loss. My talent is decent, but if I didn't castrate myself, I wouldn't have been able to stand out amongst these disciples. Oh. Naipao, your talent is decent. Pinliang was a bit surprised. Training required talent, and he knew that, but he didn't expect Naipao's talent to be this good. Yes, training in demonic arts requires talent as well, but according to Master Guangnyo, the more evil a person is, the easier it is for them to train in demonic arts. Absorbing the wasp venom isn't something that a righteous person can train in, Naipao said. Haha, us 3 brothers are the best when it comes to being evil. Pinliang laughed. That means that I'm quite suited for this art as well, but letting those wasps sting me. Just the thought of it scares me. Forget it. Right, Naipao, what's your strength right now? I'm golden class late phase peak now, and I'll be breaking through in a few days. When I break through to mystic, it'll be Lin Yi's time of death. Naipao said confidently. When that time comes, I'll go down the mountain and help Liang bro vent his anger. You can't. Pinliang jumped. On one hand, he was shocked at how fast Naipao's strength had increased, but on the other hand, he didn't want Naipao to go down the mountain and die. You can't. What do you mean? Naipao paused. Pow, as far as I know, Lin Yi is at least in the early phase of the mystic class, Pinliang said. Plus, there's a mystic mid-phase physical practitioner who's no match for Lin Yi. Lin Yi's already crippled him. You can't let your guard down. Ah! How did Lin Yi become so powerful? When I left, wasn't he only at the late phase of the golden class? Naipao was taken aback. He didn't think that Lin Yi would level up in this time. One had to know that the proper mental cultivation method was to absorb spiritual energy from the natural world, which made the cultivation process incomparably slow. In those places with abundant spiritual energy, the speed was not as fast as the devil sect Kung Fu, let alone in the city. How did Lin Yi cultivate? Yes. Pinliang nodded solemnly. That's right, Pow. Lin Yi is indeed that strong. He's a mystic early phase spiritual practitioner, and he can injure him with ease. We can't let our guard down. Before we have absolute strength, we can't make an enemy out of him. Unless we have absolute strength and can kill Lin Yi in one hit, then we can't make a move. From what I know, not only can Lin Yi heavily injure a practitioner of the same level, but he can also beat someone of a higher level. He's really hard to deal with. He's that strong. Naipao's face turned serious after hearing Pinliang's words. Naipao knew very well what kind of person Pinliang was. He wouldn't put others down for no reason. There had to be a reason behind what he was saying, and so Naipao had to be very careful about it. If that's the case, then unless I'm a mystic late phase or even an earth class, I won't be able to beat Lin Yi. It looks like I won't be able to leave the mountain anytime soon. Yes, if we don't have absolute confidence in winning, then we'll have to endure it. Pin Liang sighed. Pow, I'll be honest with you, I'm really having a hard time right now. I have a lot of enemies, but I have no choice but to endure it. Oh, what enemies? Naipao paused. Liang bro, what happened to you? Your Liang bro, had my kidney removed. Zhong Ping Liang sighed. I'm a man with only one kidney now. What? Liang bro, your kidney was cut off. Who did this? Naipao's face paled as he looked at Pin Liang in shock. You wouldn't know even if I told you now, never mind. We'll wait until you leave the mountain and take revenge. You just need to know that I'm having a hard time. Pow, you have to work hard. Pin Liang made himself sound so pitiful because he wanted to ignite Naipao's fighting spirit so that he could train harder in the future. Don't worry, Liang bro. I understand, I'll work harder and become an Earth class. Naipao swore. Ian, after seeing you today, Xiaofu and I are confident. We know that our day of revenge isn't far. Pin Liang nodded. Right, is there anything you need here? It's nothing, I don't lack anything here. I just train every day, I don't have anything else to do. Naipao shook his head. Alright, then Xiaofu and I are relieved to see you. We won't disturb your training, we'll leave the mountain first. We'll come see you another day, Pin Liang said. Alright, I'll send you guys off. Naipao nodded. Man, there's no car in your sect, walking back is so tiring. Pin Liang sighed. One of his kidneys had been cut off, and his stamina wasn't what it used to be. Liang bro, I'll take you with me, Naipao said casually. You'll take me with you? Pin Liang blinked. Naipao smiled faintly as he held Xiaofu and Pin Liang by his sides, running down the mountain. Pin Liang and Xiaofu jumped in fright, not expecting Naipao to be this strong, running so fast with a person in each hand. Naipao was only a golden class late phase. It wasn't hard to imagine that Lin Yi had gone easy on the three, otherwise they would have been killed by Lin Yi long ago. Yu Ren had been very troubled these past 2 days. He'd been frowning all the time, but he didn't dare tell his wife and daughter about it. He wished that this was just a dream, but he knew that it wasn't a dream. Scorpion had come to the market looking for Yu Ren yesterday, telling him that today was the deadline for him to return the money. Man. Yu Ren sighed as he looked at his broken furniture. He didn't know what to do anymore. Chapter 1095. Forcing debts. Dad, what's wrong? Yuan seemed to have noticed that her father wasn't right these past few days. Once her father came home, he always had a sad face, he didn't even look like he was smiling. This was completely different from before. In the past, although the family was poor, and although the days were tiring, but no matter how hard it was, at night, the whole family would eat dinner together, and her father would drink some wine and watch TV. That was the happiest time of the family. But now, her father would drink to drown his sorrows. He wasn't enjoying the happiness of drinking like before. Sigh. Yu Ren sighed again. He didn't know what to say to his daughter. Dad, what's wrong with you? If there's something on your mind, just say it. I'm your daughter, we'll face it together. Yuan was very sensible as she sat beside her father. Yuan, I've let you down, I've let your mom down. Yu Ren couldn't take it anymore. He was ready to tell her the truth. Today was the deadline, and tonight, Xiao Luozi would bring people to collect the debt. Even if he wanted to hide it, he wouldn't be able to. Dad, why are you saying this all of a sudden? How are you letting me and Mom down? Yuan paused, looking at her father strangely. Yu Ren's wife was a part-time worker. She went to a rich family to be a nanny, so she wasn't home right now. There was only Yu Ren and Yuan at home. Yuan, Dad was tricked into gambling. I lost 500,000. Yu Ren lowered his head, depressed. What? Dad, what did you say? You lost 500,000? Yuan's eyes were wide open. She looked at her father in disbelief. Dad, are you joking? We don't even have 500,000. We don't have 500,000. If we did, I wouldn't be so worried. My 500,000 was a loan from the arena. Yu Ren said with a bitter face, his head down and his face down. Dad, what's going on? Why did you borrow money from the loan sharks? Yuan was shocked. In her eyes, her father had always been a good person. He didn't have any bad habits like gambling. How did he lose 500,000 all of a sudden? Was there a hidden reason behind all of this? Sigh. It's a long story. Since Yu Ren had opened his mouth, He didn't plan to hide it anymore. He told his daughter about how he went to the arena, how he was tempted to borrow money to bet, and how he lost everything. Dad, it's illegal for these people to organize an underground boxing club. Moreover, gambling is also illegal. We can call the police. As long as we call the police, I believe that the police will definitely catch them all in one fell swoop. You don't have to pay back the money. Although Yuan was a working girl, she also knew the law. She knew that whether it was underground boxing or organized gambling, they were all illegal acts. Yuan, your way of thinking is too childish. Yu Ren waved his hand and shook his head. If I dared to call the police, would I be sighing like this? They were an organization, not a single person. They were ruthless and killed without batting an eye. When people died, their corpses were dragged out to feed the crocodiles. They could do anything. We called the police. Indeed, the police had the ability to destroy their underground boxing arena, but what about us? Their organization wouldn't let our family go. This. Yuan was young, but she understood the logic behind her father's words. This underground boxing arena wasn't an independent existence. There was a bigger organization behind it. Even if the arena was destroyed, as long as the organization was still there, her family wouldn't be able to live in peace anymore. Plus, from her father's words, she knew that these people were demons who killed without batting an eyelid. They would definitely come for revenge. Yuan, what do you think I should do? I really regret it, listening to other people's words. Now, there's nothing we can do. Yu Ren sighed and said helplessly. While the father and daughter were talking, there was a sudden violent knock on the door. Yu Ren jumped in fright. It must be Scorpion coming to collect the debt. Yu Ren's forehead was covered in cold sweat. Dad, is Mom back? Yuan was also a little worried. No, it must be the people from the casino. Yu Ren hesitated. Yuan, don't make a sound. We'll pretend that we're not home and hide for today. We'll think of a plan later. Yuan nodded in fear and didn't say anything. Dong, dong, dong. The knocking on the door got louder and louder. Old Yu, hurry up and open the door. I know you're in there. Dad, what do we do? I'm so scared. Yuan sounded righteous when she said it, but when the evil came to her door, she was scared again. Don't talk, they can't do anything if we hide in the house. There's a security door here, they can't come in. Yu Ren lowered his voice and wiped the sweat off his forehead. Oh. Yuan nodded. But as soon as Yu Ren's voice faded, there was a loud bang, followed by the sound of metal breaking. The next moment, the voices outside became clearer. Old Yu, since you're not opening the door, we'll come in ourselves. It's just a security door, it's nothing to Fighter Lee. Scorpion shouted arrogantly as he walked into the house. Yu Ren was dumbfounded. He didn't think that his house's security door would be this weak, broken by that Fighter Lee with one punch. This time, there was no point in pretending that he wasn't at home anymore. They were already in. Dad, what should we do? Yuan was dumbfounded as well. In her mind, she couldn't understand how a person could use the strength of his bare hands to break the security door. What kind of strength was that? We can only take one step at a time. Yu Ren sighed helplessly. If he knew this would happen, why did he do it? He shouldn't have listened to those people, and he wouldn't have owed so much money. Old Yu, do you think you'll be fine just by hiding in the house? Today is the deadline to return the money. If you don't return the money after 12 o'clock, TSK, we can only take coercive measures. Scorpion bro, I really don't have much money at home. Yu Ren cried as he carefully walked out of the room. He saw Scorpion and a big man standing in front of his house. Chapter 1096. You're smart this. Scorpion bro, please let me go. I'm already so old, if I were to go up there and fight, wouldn't I be killed in one hit? Yu Ren shivered and looked at Scorpion carefully, speaking weakly. So what if you die? Scorpion didn't care. Who doesn't die? So what if you die? Yu Ren was pissed off, but he didn't have any temper. He hesitated. How about, I go with you guys to fight, can you let my wife and daughter go? No, Dad, don't go, I'll go. Yuan was very filial. She knew that as long as she went on stage, she would die for sure. Commoners like them who hadn't gone through any training, how could they be a match for the fighters? So, Yuanyuan thought that if she could exchange her death for her parents' safety, it would be worth it. Ren, are you guys stupid? I'll find a fighter to fight, and they'll only pay 100 or 200,000 at most, and you want to pay 500,000? Are you dreaming? Scorpion hemphed and said in disdain, I feel like I'm losing out if your whole family goes on stage. You're forcing me to die. Ren was panicking. If this whole family went on stage, they wouldn't be able to return. So what if I'm forcing you? Die if you can, pay me back if you can't. Scorpion hemphed and said. Ren felt bitter, thinking that he really couldn't do anything. With that thought, Ren couldn't help but sigh and lower his head. Don't trouble my dad, the son will pay his father's debt, I'll go with you guys. Yuanyuan couldn't help but stand up after seeing her father's troubled look. How much can you earn by fighting in the ring? But little girl, you are not bad looking. How about this, I'll sell you to a brothel. We'll talk about it when I earn 500,000. Little Scorpion squinted his eyes and looked at Yuanyuan. It was as if he suddenly had an idea. Yuanyuan was dumbfounded after hearing Scorpion's words. She didn't care if she died, but if she was sold to a brothel where she would be humiliated by different men every day, she'd rather die. Yuanyuan immediately shook her head. How can I do that? Then I might as well die. Hey, you can die. If you die, I'll still bring your parents to fight. Little Scorpion didn't care. Who are you trying to scare with death? How can you be like this? Yuanyuan's tears immediately flowed out. She felt that these people were so unreasonable. How could they be so overbearing? However, she would never agree to let Yuanyuan work in a brothel. Hey, this girl is not bad, huh? It's quite to my liking. Fighter Li, who had been silent all this time, finally opened his mouth. He looked at Yuanyuan with his eyes squinted. Not bad, not bad. Although Yuanyuan wasn't a top-notch beauty, she was very pure. She belonged to the type that the more you look at her, the more you look at her. As for Fighter Li, he had played with many prostitutes, so he liked the pure type. Otherwise, he wouldn't have fallen in love with Yuanyuan and created such a complicated scene. However, he didn't look for Yuanyuan to play with her once or twice. He wanted Yuanyuan to be his long-term concubine. It'd be best if she willingly served him. That way, it'd be fun. Forcing her wasn't Fighter Li's style. Oh, Fighter Li, you like this girl? Little Scorpion pretended not to know and asked in surprise. That's right, I like her. Fighter Li didn't hide anything and nodded. Little girl, I like you. Come back with me and be my concubine. Serve me well and I'll guarantee you a good life. Your father's debt will also be written off. How about it? Yuanyuan was suddenly at a loss. She was quite unwilling to be with an emotionless evil person, but what could she do even if she didn't want to? Yuanyuan didn't want to, but she knew that this way, she and her father wouldn't have to die. The crisis at home would be over. What do you mean? Scorpion frowned and became impatient. I'm telling you, Yuanyuan, either you serve Fighter Li or you go to a brothel and earn me 500,000. Make your choice. Yuanyuan lowered her head helplessly. Tears welled up in her eyes. At this moment, she really didn't know what to do. If she could choose, she'd rather die. But she also knew that if she died, her parents wouldn't have it easy either. They'd all die. If what Fighter Li said was true, then she'd sacrifice herself for the happiness of her family. Even though she didn't want to serve Fighter Li, it was still better than going to a brothel. You're still hesitating when it's such a good thing? Scorpion turned around impatiently and said to Fighter Li, this girl doesn't know what's good for her. Why don't we just let it go? There are so many pretty girls out there, why waste time on her? I'll find you another one later. Let's sell her to a brothel. You can't force a melon to be sweet. Look at her hesitant face. If she doesn't serve you well, then what's the use of her? No need, I like her. Fighter Li waved his hand and said, little girl, your name is Yuanyuan, right? Let me tell you, I may be a rough person, but I love you. If you follow me, you won't lose anything. Yu Yuanyuan hesitated and looked at her father Yu Ren. Yu Ren didn't feel good either. But what could he do? Facing people like Scorpion and Fighter Li, the life and death of his family were in their hands. He didn't dare resist at all. Yuanyuan, what do you think? Yu Ren was still a man of principle. He wanted his daughter to make a choice. If you don't want to, then the three of us can go to hell together. We don't need to suffer anymore. Dad, I'll go with him. Yu Yuanyuan hesitated and finally nodded with tears in her eyes. Her whole family was dead. That was not what she wanted. But now, she only needed to serve Fighter Li. That was a blessing in disguise. As long as her parents were fine, Yu Yuanyuan would accept it. Chapter 1097. Chapter 1095. Gowden's secret Fighter Li was also very happy when he heard this news. He thought that he would have to force Yuanyuan a few more times before she would give in, but he didn't expect that this was the first time they came, and just by smashing the door, the father and daughter were already scared to the point of wetting their pant. Then what else is there to say? Let's go. Fighter Li looked at the beautiful Yu Yuanyuan, and his heart skipped a beat. He wanted to carry her to the bed. Wait, you need to give me a few days to get used to it. Yuanyuan had made up her mind to leave with Fighter Li, but she wasn't mentally prepared yet. She needed some time to prepare. You still need time to get used to it. Fighter Li frowned, impatient. Since you've agreed, then come with me. You're not thinking of playing tricks, are you? What tricks can I play? Yuanyuan mocked herself. Right now, everything is in your hands. I just want to accept everything calmly. Give me some time, and I'll go with you willingly. I don't think you want to use force, right? That's true. After listening to Yuanyuan's words, Fighter Li was relieved. He really didn't like to use force, so for Yuanyuan's request, Fighter Li thought for a moment and agreed. If you say so, then I'll give you 3 days. 3 days later, I'll bring you into the house. Yu Yuanyuan smiled sadly, nodded and said, all right, 3 days it is. Good, if that's the case, old Yu, we're a family now. You can't live in this house anymore, the door's broken. Here's 100,000 kwai, consider it my dowry money. Take it and find a hotel to stay in, and then change the door. Fighter Li took out the 100,000 kwai he prepared and slapped it on the table. Yu Ren wanted to reject it, since he was selling his daughter for money. He couldn't accept it, but Yuanyuan took the money and gave it to Yu Ren. Dad, take it. Yu Yuanyuan was in despair. She just wanted to maximize her value. Now that she could subsidize her family with some money, Yu Yuanyuan felt a little better. Fighter Li and Scorpion saw that they had succeeded and didn't stay any longer. They turned around and left Yu Ren's house, leaving Yu Ren and his daughter behind. They looked at each other and sighed. They could only blame fate for not being fair. It was too hard. West Star Mountain Village. Gowden finished his farm chores and ran to West Star Mountain after notifying his father. West Star Mountain's terrain was treacherous, and there were many ferocious beasts roaming about. Therefore, even if the residents of the nearby mountain villages went hunting in the mountain, they would only move around the foot of the mountain. They did not dare to go deep into the mountain. In Star West Village, only 3 people dared to go deep into the mountains. One was the old doctor in the village, Old Lin, the other was the little medicine boy, Lin Yi, and the last one was Lin Yi's follower, Gowden, Ju Jiaming. At the back of West Star Mountain, there was a nameless spring. Gowden was standing next to it, scooping up some water and putting it into his mouth. Gowden wanted to drink to his heart's content, but after years of experimenting, he knew that drinking more or less wouldn't have much of an effect. It could only last for a short period of time, and after a while, the effect would fade. Gowden had thought of using a bottle to bring some water with him, but once the water left the nameless spring, it would lose its effect. This made Gowden feel helpless, but there was nothing he could do. Who told him to be naughty when he was young, secretly drinking Old Lin's medicine? It was said that he had a type of poison in his body, and he needed this nameless spring to provide energy. If he didn't replenish the water in a short period of time, the poison would start to absorb his energy, and eventually, he would be consumed by the poison. This was why Gowden couldn't go out as he pleased. After drinking the water, A Gowden flew down the mountain and ran to old Lin's house. When Gowden arrived at old Lin's house, old Lin was checking the pulse of an old lady from the neighboring village. He only nodded at him when he saw Gowden, signaling for him to sit on the side and wait while old Lin continued to check on the old lady. Gowden was a regular at old Lin's house, and he didn't mind strangers. He sat on the side and waited for old Lin. Old Lin was the only doctor in this area, and there weren't any proper hospitals nearby. Whenever people got sick, they would come to old Lin for treatment. Of course, they didn't know that old Lin was a miracle healer. They came here to enjoy the treatment of a miracle healer at a super cheap price. It's just a cold, do you want Chinese medicine or Western medicine? Old Lin asked faintly. How much is Chinese medicine, and how much is Western medicine? The people here cared a lot about money. The old lady was calculating which medicine was cheaper. Chinese medicine is 20, Western medicine is 50 cents. Old man Lin did not bother to explain the difference between Chinese and Western medicine. Old man Lin's purpose here was to conceal his identity, not to save people. Western medicine, then, the old lady said quickly. Quick Effect Cold Capsule, 50 cents a pack. Old Lin found a pack of Quick Effect Cold Capsule and handed it to the old lady. The old lady gave the money and left. Old Lin turned to Gowden. Gowden, you're here today to find Lil Yi, right? Yes, Grandpa Lin, boss told me to give him medicine. Gowden nodded honestly. You're done with your family business? Well, it's already past the spring plowing season. Old Lin nodded and went to get the medicine for Gowden. You drank the water from the spring, right? Grandpa Lin, I drank it just now. Gowden didn't hide anything from old Lin. Okay, that's good. But remember, you have to come back within 3 months. Otherwise, even I won't be able to save you. Old Lin said solemnly as he put a bottle in Gowden's hands. Don't worry, Grandpa Lin, I know how important this is. I'll definitely come back. Gowden didn't dare joke around with his life. Right, here's 2,000 kwai. Take it with you as travel expenses. Old Lin took out another 2,000 kwai and gave it to Gowden. How can I? Gowden jumped. He didn't think that old Lin would give him this much money. 2,000 kwai was enough for a family in a small village like this for a year or two. Chapter 1098. Chapter 1096. Ask your boyfriend. Gowden, naturally, didn't say anything else after hearing that it was Lin Yi's idea. He took the money and put it in his pocket. Other than his parents, he only listened to Lin Yi. Be careful on the road, you're a straightforward person. I'm not worried about your kung fu, but I'm worried that you'll get scammed. Old Lin said. Don't trust people easily when you're outside. Ha ha. Gowden scratched his head and smiled. This is Lil Yi's address and contact number. Keep it safe and contact him when you get there. Old Lin gave Gowden another piece of paper. Gowden quickly put it away with the money and nodded. When do I leave, Grandpa Lin? Tomorrow. I'll book a ticket for you later. Old Lin said. The next morning, Gowden started his journey. On the train, he listened to old Lin's words and showed enough vigilance. He didn't want to talk to strangers casually. He heard that there were a lot of scammers on the train, and he didn't want to start on a bad note. Lingshan's strength had increased greatly, but the joy that came with it didn't last long. The seemingly peaceful Songshan city had another case. Up until now, there had been 6 cases of hooligans causing trouble and running away, 5 cases of foreign workers running away because of a conflict, 3 cases of illegal taxi drivers running away, 2 cases of fitness trainers taking liberties with female students and running away. There were also more than 10 cases of workers running away from various industries. Adding them all up, there were almost 30 cases of people disappearing out of nowhere. And this was just the known cases. There should be more unknown cases, but there was no way to count them yet. The missing people were all from different professions, and they didn't seem to be connected at all. But the fact that so many of them had escaped in such a short period of time was enough to draw the attention of the higher-ups. Even Huaijuan, who was far away in the provincial capital, had gotten the news and called to ask about the details of Lingshan's case. Instinctively, Lingshan felt that things weren't as simple as they seemed. These missing people didn't have any connection with each other, and they weren't related at all. They hadn't even seen each other before, but they all had one thing in common. They were all strong men, and not a single woman. Of course, this could be a coincidence, but Lingshan felt that it wasn't. At present, these cases were just simple missing persons cases. They had not risen to the level of criminal cases. After all, they were just missing people, not corpses. But Lingshan felt that these cases weren't as simple as the missing person cases. There had to be some secrets and secrets hidden in there. Lingshan didn't have any leads yet. Dang dang dang. There was a knock on the office door. Come in. Lingshan calmed herself down, returning to her usual composure. Captain Song, there's another case from the traffic police, a bus driver who ran away after a hit and run. It's been confirmed that his ID and driver's license were fake. Wang Li pushed the door open and placed a case file on Lingshan's desk. Oh. Liu Wang Li, what do you think? Is this case the same as the missing girl's case? Lingshan frowned as she looked at the file Liu Wang Li handed her. Based on my intuition, yes, but there's no evidence. Wang Li sighed. Captain Song, I feel like there's a huge conspiracy brewing here. We can't let our guard down. Yeah, I think so too. But for now, apart from the disappearance of these people, everything is peaceful. Lingshan sighed. If they didn't really run away, then why are we not seeing their corpses? That's the most important point. If these people were killed or controlled, there should be clues, but it doesn't seem like that. From what we know, these people ran away willingly, no one forced them or threatened them. Wang Li said. Let's pay close attention. Lingshan nodded as well. What Liu Wang Li said was exactly what she couldn't figure out. Yes. Captain Song, there's something that I don't know if I should say. Liu Wang Li was about to leave after he agreed, but he stopped in his tracks. If you have something to say, just say it. Lingshan nodded, indicating for Wang Li to speak. Captain Song, why don't we ask your boyfriend if there's any news? Wang Li suggested after some hesitation. I understand. Lingshan frowned. She didn't expect Wang Li to suggest asking Lin Yi. This made her a little depressed, but also a little happy, because Wang Li said that Lin Yi was her boyfriend. Of course, Wang Li was Lingshan's confidant now, so she didn't blame him. She knew that his suggestion was for her own good. Liu Wang Li didn't say anything else as he left the office. Lingshan, on the other hand, hesitated for a bit before calling Lin Yi's number. Lin Yi was discussing the product launch with Fatty Lai, Guan Xuemin, and Kang Xiaobo when Lingshan's call came in. Lin Yi gestured to Fatty Lai and the others before walking to the window to pick up the phone. Hello. What's up this time? Lin Yi's tone wasn't too pleasant when he saw Lingshan's number. Lin Yi, there's something I need your help with. Lingshan said after some hesitation. I don't have time, I'm busy. Lin Yi thought. As expected, Lingshan's call was nothing good. She must be begging him. Lin Yi, help me, Miss Dumbo will be very grateful. Lingshan said coquettishly when she heard Lin Yi's rejection. I'll cook for you the next time you come. Lin Yi was speechless. This Lingshan seemed to be pestering him. I'm starting to regret it now. Last time at your house, I should have just pushed you down. Why are you so troublesome? Lin Yi asked, amused and angry at the same time. Oh. Next time isn't too late. Lingshan blushed slightly, but she was happy inside. So the reason Lin Yi didn't push her down wasn't because he didn't like her, but because he was afraid that she'd cause too much trouble. It seemed like she still had her charm. Chimph, Miss Song, work hard. One day, you'll succeed. Lingshan cheered herself on. Chapter 1099. Someone from House Pi alright? It's like this, in Songshan, there's been around 30 missing persons cases, and most of them are gangsters, foreign workers, illegal drivers, etc. They all ran away after committing some small crimes. Lingshan said succinctly, Lin Yi, can you help me keep an eye out for them? How am I supposed to keep an eye out for them? Lin Yi frowned. Are you relying on me now? That's not it. Lingshan said, a little embarrassed. Indeed, Lingshan was starting to get a little reliant on Lin Yi, thinking that he was omnipotent. As long as she needed something, he'd do it for her. All right, is there anything else? Lin Yi said faintly. No. That's all. Lingshan never felt confident in front of Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't say much and hung up. Lingshan held the phone helplessly. She'd wanted to ask Lin Yi if there was anything wrong with him leveling up her strength, but judging from Lin Yi's tone, he didn't seem to be affected at all. She'd told Lin Yi about it, but she still didn't feel confident. After all the previous cases had details, but this one was still a mystery, and Lin Yi didn't seem to want to help at all. This made her a little disappointed. Xiao family had been keeping a low profile these days. Without Uncle Pai's support, the already declining Xiao family was walking on a path of no return. All their old relationships were drifting away, and even the in-laws, House Kang, had cut off all ties with Xiao family. Xiao Ji sat in the villa's living room, sighing. Xiao Ben was at his wits' end as well. Xiao family's situation was getting worse, and they still owed Lin Yi a huge sum of money. Lin Yi didn't come to their door to ask for it, but Xiao family's situation wasn't any better. Brother, Xiao family's huge business is going to be destroyed in my hands. I can't accept this. Xiao Ji's eyes were bloodshot. He hadn't slept well for days. It's all that bitch Go Huli's fault. She made Xiao family an enemy for no reason, and she even hit Uncle Pai with her car. I'm going to kill her right now. With that, Xiao Ji stood up, ready to go fight Go Huli. Brother, calm down. Xiao Ben saw his big brother's crazy look and quickly got up to stop him. Big brother, what are you doing? Since you also know that the Xiao family is at the moment of life and death, why are you still fighting among yourselves here? Going to sis-in-law? What's the point? Xiao Ben was a smart man. He tried his best to fight for the position of the head of the house when his grandfather was still alive, but after his death, he realized the danger that Xiao family was in. If he fought amongst himself now, it would only make Xiao family die even faster. Plus, his brother wasn't that smart, and he had to discuss everything with him. Xiao Ben was basically the head of the house now, and he didn't need to fight for anything. Plus, with Xiao family's current situation, where would they have the time to fight for the head of the house? Brother, I want to calm down, but can I? The meeting of the noble houses is about to start, and I think that this time, House Yu will kick us out of the noble house list. Xiao family won't be a noble house anymore. Xiao Ji's face was bitter as he sat down. Brother, the situation is already like this. Even if you kill sis-in-law, what can you do? Xiao Ben waved his hand. I'm afraid we can only count on House Wu, but I don't know if Xiao Wangdao and Xiao Wangba have a good relationship with Chen Tian. I heard that House Kang's Kang Jiaolong has a good relationship with Chen Tian. I'm just worried that he'll try to sow discord between them. Then what should we do now? Xiao Ji had no idea at all. No matter what, life has to go on. Tomorrow, I'll go take a look, and if it doesn't work, I'll open a restaurant or something to sustain Xiao family's expenses, and then we'll look for opportunities in the future. Xiao Ben felt that he was the head of Xiao family, but at this moment, he didn't feel any joy of being the head of the house, and he was worried to death. However, at this moment, the doorbell of the villa's gate rang. Who's visiting at this time? Xiao Ji paused. The current Xiao family was deserted, and no one would come to visit. Xiao Wangdao and Xiao Wangba both had keys, and they didn't need to ring the doorbell. Could it be Lin Yi again? Xiao Ben was shocked, and he walked out. Whether it was Lin Yi or not, he had to face it head-on. However, the people at the entrance of the villa surprised Xiao Ben. They were two unfamiliar men whom he had never met before. You are? Xiao Ben didn't know who they were, and he asked curiously. This is Xiao family, right? One of the young men asked, but his attitude was very arrogant. Yes, you are? Xiao Ben saw the young man's arrogant attitude, and a trace of displeasure flashed in his eyes. But there was a saying that a tiger would be bullied by a dog, and the current Xiao family was not what it used to be, and they shouldn't have any more enemies. So, Xiao Ben didn't get angry, and only asked patiently. Where's Uncle Pai? The young man asked after confirming that this was Xiao family. Uncle Pai? Xiao Ben paused, but he reacted quickly, and asked, You're talking about Uncle Pai, right? Yes, where is he? I heard he was beaten into a vegetable. The young man's eyes flashed with anger. Although Uncle Pai was kicked out of House Pai by his grandfather, he was still a member of the hidden House Pai. Now that he was beaten into a vegetable, House Pai couldn't just ignore it. Of course, this wasn't the young man's decision, but the result of a family meeting in House Pai, and it was also approved by his grandfather. The young man's name was Pai Jishan, the eldest grandson of House Pai. The silent man beside him was his cousin, Pai Jihai, the son of his second uncle's family. This time, they came to see the world, and the one in charge was Pai Jishan. In fact, he had never met Uncle Pai before, and in the end, Uncle Pai was just a housekeeper who made a mistake. But even so, House Pai's children were prideful from a young age, and they wouldn't let others bully them. And this time, he didn't just come to help Uncle Pai, he came with another mission. Chapter 1100. No way to escape. Yes, why aren't you opening the door? Pai Jishan hemphed and ordered Xiao Ben. Please come in, please come in. Xiao Ben wasn't angry. Pai Jishan was cold and arrogant, but from Xiao Ben's perspective, if they were really Uncle Pai's family, then they wouldn't be weak. There was nothing wrong with being arrogant. Xiao Ben quickly opened the door and let Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai in. If it weren't for Uncle Pai's relationship with you guys, I would have kicked this door away already. Pai Jishan hemphed. His main purpose for coming here was to show off. He wanted to show off his strength so that the Xiao family would be willing to work with him. So Pai Jishan always maintained this sense of superiority. Xiao Ben's face was a little unhappy. Even if they were Uncle Pai's family, wasn't this a little too arrogant? Kicking the door when you're in someone else's house? Plus, the door was made of steel, how could it be kicked away? What, you don't believe me? Pai Jishan smiled coldly and turned around. Of course I believe you. Xiao Ben knew that if the Xiao family wanted to rise again, they would need the help of Uncle Pai's family. So he didn't dare refute Pai Jishan's words. Pai Jishan looked at the stone lion in the yard and said to Pai Jihai, Jihai, smash that lion. It's an eyesore. Yes, big brother. Pai Jihai replied and walked towards the stone lion. With a wave of his hand, the stone lion was smashed into a pile of rubble. Xiao Ben took in a deep breath. Originally, he was annoyed with Pai Jishan's attitude because of his young age. He thought that Pai Jishan was just a messenger for the Pai family, so he didn't think much of him. But now, it seemed that he was wrong. Age wasn't the limit to ambition. These two young men were no weaker than Uncle Pai. In other words, these two were masters as well. Thinking of this, Xiao Ben's face suddenly showed a flattering expression. You two are really amazing. This lion is really an eyesore. This villa is a second-hand house. When we moved in, we wanted to throw the lion out, but it was too heavy. None of us could move it, so we could only give up. Thank you two masters today. Xiao Ben's words were against his conscience. They bought the lion when they moved in to protect the house. But now, to please Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai, he had no choice but to say this. It's nothing. Pai Jishan said faintly, then entered the villa with Pai Jihai. They sat on the sofa in the living room. As for Xiao Ji, although he didn't go out, he could see the scene outside clearly from the living room. At first, he was just like his second brother, Xiao Ben, and was dissatisfied with the arrogance of these two young men. But after seeing their tyrannical strength, he immediately lost his temper, and just like his second brother, his face was full of flattery. Two experts, how should I address you? I'm the head of the Xiao family, Xiao Ji. Uncle Pai watched me grow up. Xiao Ji's speech was a little clumsy, and his greeting was a little pretentious. But Pai Jishan didn't mind. This was the effect he wanted. Only by shocking the Xiao family could he proceed with the next step of his plan. I'm Pai Jishan, and this is my brother Pai Jihai. To be honest, we're from the hidden house Pai. Pai Jishan sat down on the sofa and introduced himself. Hidden house Pai. Although the Xiao family was a weak noble house, they still had some understanding of the hidden houses. Naturally, they knew that one of them was House Pai. The hidden house Pai was even stronger than the hidden house Jiao, but the Xiao family had never thought that Uncle Pai was from the hidden house Pai. That was such a powerful existence. Thinking up to this point, Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben were filled with excitement, but at the same time, their hearts were filled with apprehension. Facing the hidden house Pai, opportunity and danger came hand in hand. If they could form a relationship with the hidden house Pai, then the Xiao family would instantly rise from a weak noble house to a top noble house. But the problem was, why did the hidden house pie come today? From the looks of it, there was a 90% chance that it was because of Uncle Pie's injuries. Uncle Pie was injured by Go Huli's car, so the hidden house pie didn't cause trouble for the Xiao family. Why would they help the Xiao family? It's Master Pie and Master Pie. Xiao Ben didn't dare to be slow, and he didn't dare to take advantage of his seniority. He carefully called Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai as Master Pie and Master Pie, trying to figure out why they were here. Pai Jishan nodded and accepted the title. Right, what's going on with my Uncle Pie? Tell me in detail. Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben's hearts tightened, and they looked at each other. As expected, the hidden house pie didn't come with good intentions. They were here for Uncle Pie's injury. Xiao Ben gave Xiao Ji a look, indicating that he would be the one to explain. Naturally, Xiao Ji was more than happy to do so. He wouldn't be able to explain himself. Actually, it's like this. Xiao Ben didn't dare hide anything now. In front of masters like Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai, it was better to tell the truth. If the truth was exposed, then the Xiao family would suffer even more. So he told them everything, including how Uncle Pie was hit by Go Huli's car. I'm sorry, this woman is too reckless. I'll bring her here right now, and you two can do whatever you want with her. Xiao Ji didn't dare to protect Go Huli now. Plus, he felt that Xiao family was harmed by Go Huli. There's no need. Pai Jishan waved his hand and stopped Xiao Ji. He was here as a representative of House Pai to discuss something important with Xiao family. To Xiao family, they needed to show their strength and intimidate them. They also needed to give them some benefits. Only then would Xiao family be willing to work for House Pai. Pai Jishan was young, but he learned a lot from his grandfather. He was arrogant, but he had the right to be arrogant. This matter, as you said, Go Huli is responsible, but it's only secondary. Pai Jishan said faintly. Thank you, Master Pai, for your magnanimity, Xiao Ben quickly said. No matter what, Pai Jishan's attitude made Xiao Ben sigh in relief. If House Pai wanted an explanation from Xiao family, then Xiao family wouldn't be their match. That was the hidden House Pai. Chapter 1101. Chapter 1099, Cooperation. This is what we should do. We will take responsibility. Xiao Ben was nervous, but he had to admit his wrongdoings. He only hoped that his attitude would be better, and House Pai would forgive him. If that's the case, then I won't waste any more words with you. However, Xiao family isn't in a good situation right now. Even if you have to take responsibility, what will you take out? Pai Jishan looked at Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben, and said coldly, the Xiao family right now, other than the lives of the two misters, what else can they take out? Little kid, you're too much. My Xiao family may be down and out, but it's not up to you to judge. My wife Go Huli may have bumped into Uncle Pai, but what does that have to do with Xiao family? If you want to blame someone, you can always find a reason. Do whatever you want. I, Xiao Ji, am standing right here. What can you do to me? Xiao Ji was a hot-tempered person, and when he heard Pai Jishan's words, he panicked. Big brother. Xiao Ben was panicking. His big brother's temper was really bad. But before Xiao Ben could say anything, there was a loud slap, and the next moment, half of Xiao Ji's face swelled up, and one of his teeth fell out. He couldn't speak, but neither Xiao Ji nor Xiao Ben saw if it was Pai Jishan or Pai Jihai who did it, or maybe they didn't even do anything. Xiao Ji realized that although he was facing two young men, they were masters no weaker than Uncle Pai. Xiao Ji was a little scared at the thought. Especially when he recalled the scene of Pai Jihai smashing the stone lion at the entrance, he was even more frightened. He was a little impatient, but he wasn't an idiot. He understood the situation, and an awkward expression appeared on his face. I'm sorry, young Masters Pai. I didn't think of what I said. Xiao Ji covered his swollen face, and said embarrassedly. He was completely scared. This is a lesson, Pai Jishan said faintly. Pai Jishan said calmly. Against someone like Xiao Ji, they had to be scared of him. Otherwise, it would be hard to negotiate. Now that Xiao Ji had given in, Pai Jishan didn't have to waste any more words. Xiao Ji, you are a brute. I won't argue with you. But Xiao Ben, you're a smart man. Tell me, what else does the Xiao family have to compensate us? This. I really didn't. Although Xiao Ben didn't want to admit it, it was the truth. The Xiao family's downfall was right in front of him, so it was no wonder that Pai Jishan said this. I really didn't expect the Xiao family to have fallen to such a state. They are still one of the aristocratic families, but now they don't look like a big family at all. Pai Jishan frowned. He looked around the mansion and said, I don't know if the family's decision was right or wrong. They actually chose you two useless people to work with. Cooperation? When Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben heard Pai Jishan's seemingly unintentional words, they were shocked. Could it be that the Hidden House Pai was here to cooperate with them? If the Hidden House Pai was really here to cooperate with the Xiao family, then wouldn't the Xiao family have hope? With that thought, Xiao Ben quickly asked, Master Pai, you mean, you want to cooperate with the Xiao family? This is just a preliminary intention. Whether we can cooperate or not depends on your performance, Pai Jishan said faintly. Please speak, Master Pai. Xiao Ben was very happy. As long as House Pai was willing to cooperate with him, then the Xiao family wouldn't fall to such a state. They might even become one of the best of the noble houses. So, no matter what, he had to make House Pai cooperate with him, no matter how much he had to pay. The relationship between House Yu and the Hidden House Yu, I wonder if you know about it. Pai Jishan nodded, satisfied with Xiao Ben's response. Naturally, if it wasn't for the Hidden House Yu supporting us, then House Yu wouldn't have become the #1 noble house. Xiao Ben's heart jumped. Could it be that the Hidden House Pai wanted the Xiao family to become a noble house like House Yu? Xiao Ben was excited. If we support the Hidden House Pai, what can you do for the Xiao family? In other words, how much profit can we get? Pai Jishan said the main point of this negotiation. House Pai was indeed a hidden noble house, but according to the rules of the hidden noble house, they weren't allowed to interfere with the common world's business. In other words, other than focusing on training, they couldn't openly make money in the common world. However, the Hidden House Yu had used a roundabout method to directly control the common world's House Yu, turning them into their own tools. The common House Yu, on the other hand, used the Hidden House Yu's power to become the head of the noble houses. The Hidden House Yu, on the other hand, used the wealth that the common House Yu gave to them every year to grow bigger and bigger. House Yu's situation was accidental, and other noble houses couldn't replicate it. After all, the Hidden House Yu and the common House Yu were two different houses. They only got in touch later on. This kind of avoidance method wasn't something that others could learn. They couldn't create a common branch, and so they could only watch as House Yu made money. The agreement wasn't just for show. If they pissed off the witnesses of the agreement, it wouldn't be a joke. However, all these years, the witnesses of the agreement and the Sky Class Masters had all disappeared, and this agreement wasn't as effective as it used to be. Recently, the Hidden House Zhao had started to stir, and they had a bastard son, Zhao Qibing, who was making money in the common world. Of course, no one dared to blatantly break the convention, but there was no problem with a roundabout way. House Yu, for example, had been making money for so many years, and nothing happened to them, right? And so, the Hidden House Zhao let Zhao Qibing make money in the common world, saying that Zhao Qibing was a bastard son of House Zhao, and that his bloodline wasn't pure, so he couldn't enter House Zhao's door. Of course, even if his bloodline wasn't pure, he was still House Zhao's son, so it was understandable that House Zhao gave him some help. But everyone knew that Zhao Qibing's money in the common world was for the Hidden House Zhao. And so, with House Yu and House Zhao as precedents, the other noble houses couldn't sit still anymore. They all thought of ways and excuses to enter the common world to make money. These hidden houses, while strong in the Wulin world, didn't have much money. Chapter 1102. The rise of the Xiao family. The Hidden House Pai was one of the hidden houses that were ready to make a move. House Pai was worried about not having a chance to get involved in the common world, but the Xiao family gave them a great opportunity. The Xiao family's guardian, Uncle Pai, was the housekeeper of the hidden house. Though he had an affair with a maid and was kicked out by the head of House Pai, he was still part of the hidden house. Now that he was in a vegetative state, House Pai announced to the public that they would investigate the truth. And so, The hidden House Pai naturally came to House Xiao, and through their connection, they interfered with the affairs of the common world. Xiao Ji didn't quite understand Pai Zhishan's words, but Xiao Ben was a smart man. He understood immediately. House Pai wanted to get money from the common world, but they couldn't do it directly, so they turned their attention to the Xiao family. Uncle Pai was just an excuse. Looking at the two young masters' faces, they didn't seem to care about Uncle Pai's life or death. Otherwise, why didn't they ask to see Uncle Pai after coming to the Xiao family for so long? Xiao Ben let out a sigh of relief. As long as House Pai wasn't here to cause trouble, then everything would be fine, and it seemed like House Pai was going to use the Xiao family to get involved in the common world's business. Then the Xiao family wouldn't have any trouble. Young Masters Pai, there are two reasons why the Xiao family fell to this state. One is that when my old man was alive, he made a lot of mistakes in investments and lost most of the family's assets. The second reason is that we didn't have a strong master, so our ranking wasn't high, and we weren't treated well. Xiao Ben was honest, telling them the reason why the Xiao family fell. And, on the matter of Uncle Pai, the Xiao family made a mistake. They didn't know that Pengzhan Industries had a strong master backing them up, so they lost both their asset. But, at the end of the day, the Xiao family didn't have a strong master. Of course I know what you're saying. Pai Zhishan nodded. If I send you a strong master, will you be able to expand your business in a short period of time? Young Master Pai, to put it bluntly, the more support you give me, the bigger the stage I can step on. Xiao Ben said, when aristocratic families do business, most of the time, they rely on their connections and strength. Alright, now, let's talk about the division of profits. Pai Zhishan roughly understood what Xiao Ben meant, but Xiao Ben's request was not a problem for Pai Zhishan. House Pai had already discussed it, and they would send their masters to House Xiao. Of course, to the outside world, it was just to investigate the truth behind Uncle Pai's injury, and to protect Uncle Pai's friends, House Xiao. What does young Master Pai want to do? Xiao Ben's expression turned serious. This was a very important question. 90%. You get 10%, we get 90%, Pai Zhishan said calmly. This. Xiao Ben's expression changed as he smiled bitterly. Young Master Pai, isn't this a bit too harsh? That. Xiao Ben's face changed. He smiled bitterly. Young Master Pai, isn't that a bit too harsh? Although the situation was dire, Xiao Ben thought that House Pai wanted to use Xiao family to make money, so he bargained. Xiao Ben, you need to understand the situation. What Xiao Ben didn't expect was that Pai Zhishan would turn against him. He smiled coldly and pointed at Xiao Ben. You Xiao family are just trying to redeem yourselves. To put it bluntly, if I wanted to kill you, it would only take a few minutes. If House Pai wants to make money, we can easily support a puppet house. If we cooperate with House Kang, I'm sure they'll be willing, right? In reality, Pai Zhishan was just scaring Xiao Ben and Xiao Ji. House Pai wouldn't dare to cooperate with others. After all, the Hidden House Treaty wasn't a joke. Although the witness was gone, the Hidden House Council still existed. There was a reason for House Pai to cooperate with Xiao family. Even if the Hidden House Council came looking for them, House Pai wouldn't be afraid. They had an excuse to explain themselves. But if they supported a puppet house, it would be a different story. But Xiao Ben and Xiao Ji didn't know about these things. They knew that hidden houses couldn't earn money from the common world directly, but if they could borrow someone else's hand, it wouldn't be a problem. Wasn't that what House Yu did? So Xiao Ben didn't know that House Pai wanted to cooperate with Xiao family no matter what. He thought that it was just a feeling. And so, Xiao Ben was a little scared. He realized that they were cooperating with Xiao family because they respected Xiao family. Otherwise, they could just find someone else to cooperate with, and Xiao family would be nothing. Thinking up to here, Xiao Ben's face immediately revealed an awkward expression as he said with some embarrassment, "Young Master Pai, please calm down. I was just casually saying. 10% is 10%, Xiao Ben calculated in his heart. If they really got House Pai's support, then they'd be rolling in money. 10% wasn't a small amount. It'd be better than the current situation, right? Plus, with House Pai's help, Xiao family's status would rise. Xiao family would become like House Yu in the common world. When that happens, what's the point of having so much money? Buying flowers was enough. As long as they kept their relationship with House Pai, Xiao family's prosperity was guaranteed. Ian, at least you know what's good for you, Pai Jishan said faintly. Actually, the bottom line Grandpa gave me was 10%. Originally, we didn't want to give you even 10%, just a fixed salary for Xiao family. But as the saying goes, if you want a horse to run, you have to feed it. So, I told you the bottom line and saved you the bargaining process. Thank you, young Master Pai. Xiao Ben's heart skipped a beat. Thank God he didn't insist. If House Pai got angry, the consequences would be dire. No need for thanks, it's just a win-win situation. Pai Jishan was amused. House Pai's bottom line was 30%, the same as House Yu, but Pai Jishan went all the way to 10%. It was because of House Xiao's current situation that he felt this way. Xiao family really had nowhere else to go. To be able to get House Pai's help was a great thing. As for the division of profits, that was secondary. If their business was as big as House Yu's, then 10% wouldn't be less than Xiao family's entire income at its peak. Then the masters from House Pai. Xiao Ben remembered the crux of the matter. If the masters from House Pai weren't there, then everything was just empty talk. Chapter 1103. Some proud, some worried mystic late phase peak? Xiao Ben was startled. That strong? Wasn't that much stronger than Uncle Pai? Plus, with the hidden House Pai, who wouldn't give face to the Xiao family? Especially after hearing Pai Jishan say that he was already an Earth-class master. Xiao Ben's heart skipped a beat. It was fortunate that he didn't mess with this young master of House Pai. Otherwise, the Xiao family would have died a horrible death. Pai Jishan was already an Earth-class master at such a young age. This hidden house was too overpowered. But, luckily, the two houses had reached an agreement. The stronger House Pai was, the higher the status of the Xiao family would rise. Of course, our House Pai masters are only here to watch and supervise. If you want to order them around like Uncle Pai, that's impossible. Pai Jishan warned Xiao Ben. The hidden House Pai masters wouldn't be ordered around by the Xiao family. I understand. Xiao Ben quickly nodded. In fact, he didn't even think about ordering the Pai masters to do anything. He didn't dare to either. He only smiled, but, if someone comes looking for trouble with the Xiao family, don't worry about that. If someone comes looking for trouble with the Xiao family, our House Pai masters will take care of it. Pai Jishan waved his hand. What I'm talking about is using them like servants. But, when the Xiao family is in trouble, they won't just sit and watch. After all, we're working together. That's good. Xiao Ben heard Pai Jishan's promise and was overjoyed. This was the result he wanted. As long as the Xiao family was in trouble, the Pai masters would be able to help. As for ordering them around like servants, that was impossible. The Xiao family would be more than happy to provide for them. If that's the case, then I won't say anything else. Pai Jishan said faintly, I'll leave everything to you. I'll get the masters in place in the next 2 days. Now, I have to report to my grandfather. Young Master Pai, please wait a moment. Xiao Ben stopped Pai Jishan. About the business, are we free to do what we want, or is there a specific project? It doesn't matter, as long as we can make money, Pai Jishan said nonchalantly. Then can I tell the public that House Pai is supporting our Xiao family? Xiao Ben nodded and asked. This information was crucial. If House Pai wanted to keep it a secret, then House Pai's support would be a lot weaker. Passively letting people know and actively spreading the news had a completely different effect. If they spread the news that the hidden House Pai was behind House Xiao, then people who knew about it would actively seek out House Xiao to cooperate with them and provide convenience for them. It wouldn't be House Xiao who actively sought out others to cooperate with them, and even hinted at their relationship with the hidden House Pai. Of course, whether or not people would believe it was still unknown. Of course. Pai Jishan smiled and nodded. House Pai naturally agreed to this request from the Xiao family. House Pai's actions couldn't be hidden from the hidden Noble House Association, so instead of hiding it, they might as well do it openly. There was a reason for this anyway. No one would say anything. That's great. This way, we can avoid a lot of trouble. Xiao Ben nodded happily. At this moment, he could already see the bright future of the Xiao family. Thinking about the upcoming meeting of the noble houses, Xiao Ben smiled happily. This time, not only would the Xiao family not be pushed out of the noble house rankings, but they'd even go one step higher. Whoever went against the Xiao family would be going against House Yu. Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai were only here to negotiate. Pai Jishan was the first successor of the hidden house Pai, and naturally, he couldn't stay with the Xiao family for long. Pai Jihai, on the other hand, was only here to gain experience. Pai Jihai was a martial arts fanatic, and didn't have any schemes. But the more he was like this, the happier Pai Jishan was. He had a brother who only wanted to increase his strength, and no one was competing for the position of the head of the house. He could even increase the strength of the house, so why not? After Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai left, Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben started laughing. There was hope for the Xiao family. All the troubles from before disappeared at this moment, and the Pai people didn't even look at Uncle Pai, who was in the hospital. One could imagine that they didn't have any feelings for Uncle Pai. With this, the Xiao family brothers let out a sigh of relief. Xiao Ben was afraid that House Pai still held a grudge against Uncle Pai, and was afraid that they would drag the Xiao family down with them. But now, it seemed like there was no need to worry anymore. Still, Xiao Ben wasn't willing to let it go. He wanted to find Lin Yi for revenge, and the first thing he wanted to do after House Pai came was to bring people to Pengzhan to force him to pay the debt. But now, it seemed like House Pai didn't care about Uncle Pai at all, and the chances of them getting revenge for Uncle Pai was very low, but no matter what, the Xiao family's rise was inevitable. Xiao Ben turned to Xiao Ji. Brother, you can use your position as the head of the Xiao family to spread the word that we, the Xiao family, have received the support of the hidden House Pai, and are starting to recruit business partner. All right, I'll take care of it. Xiao Ji patted his chest and agreed. He loved to brag the most. Moreover, this time, it wasn't just bragging. It was a fact. The news of the Xiao family receiving the support of the hidden house Pai spread like wildfire under Xiao Ji's purposeful spread, and soon, all the noble houses received the news. But among these noble houses, there were happy ones, and there were depressed ones, and there were also those who didn't care. The happiest was House Wu. Wu Gongao felt that his grandson, Wu Chentian, had a good relationship with Xiao Wangdao and Xiao Wangba, and now that the Xiao family was in power, House Wu would also get some benefits in the future. But there were fewer happy ones, and more depressed ones. The most depressed ones were House Liu and House Chen. House Liu and House Chen were both weaker noble houses, and with the Xiao family at the bottom, they felt threatened, but they still had a chance to breathe. But now, the Xiao family suddenly became strong, and became a noble house on par with House Yu. Didn't that mean that House Liu and Chen were at the bottom? Chapter 1104. Chapter 1102. House Chenjinhu listened to Liu Tianyi's report and took a deep breath, frowning. He didn't speak for a long time. Originally, Zhenhu thought that after Lin Yi's treatment, he could live another 10 years. With his old face, House Liu could hold on for a while longer. As long as he didn't die, House Liu would still have hope. As long as they managed it well, with a reasonable marriage with an ancient martial arts house, House Liu would continue to prosper. Zhenhu's plan was to use Liu Jinghan and another young master of a martial arts house's child as the next head of the house, in exchange for the Liu surname. This way, the child would be able to learn the martial arts of a martial arts house, and when the child grew up, House Liu would become a martial arts house as well. But, before this idea could be realized, a problem arose. House Liu had already received the news of the upcoming noble house meeting. House Yu was planning to remove one noble house and make a new one. This would not only ensure House Yu's position in the noble house meeting, but it would also benefit House Yu when they became a new noble house. Before, everyone thought that the new noble house would be removed would be Xiao family, but now, it seemed that this new noble house would be House Liu. House Chen had at least one practitioner. Chen Yutian, his level was a bit low, but he was still a practitioner. House Liu, on the other hand, had none. Tianyi, Tianli, what do you think? How can House Liu maintain our current position in the upcoming noble house meeting? Zhenhu raised his head and looked at his two sons. Liu Tianyi and Liu Tianli fell into deep thought. In fact, they had been thinking about this problem ever since they got the news that Xiao family was supported by the hidden house pie. It was just that they didn't have any good ideas. Tianyi, why don't you go first? Zhenhu said. I'm thinking, is it possible to ask for House Wu's help? Liu Tianyi's wife was the daughter of Wu Gongao, the head of House Wu, and Wu Gongao had just broken through to the middle phase of the mystic class. If he was willing to help, there should be a chance. What about Tianli? What do you think? Zhenhu didn't comment on Liu Tianyi's idea and asked Tianli instead. Big brother is right. Sister-in-law is a member of the Wu family, so it's only right for us to seek help from the Wu family. Other than that, I think we should build a good relationship with the Xiao family. The Xiao family needs business partners right now, and we can totally volunteer to do business with the Xiao family. Tianli said after some thought. Jing, why don't you tell us what you think? Zhenhu turned his attention to his granddaughter, Liu Jinghan. Lin Yi. Liu Jinghan pondered for a moment and only said 2 words. Lin Yi. Tianli paused after hearing his daughter's words. Jing, why are you bringing up Lin Yi at a time like this? He's not from a noble house, and even if he was, he's a mortal enemy of House Yu. We've publicly supported Lin Yi, and that's already making House Yu uncomfortable. If we get involved with Lin Yi now, then House Yu will hate us even more. Wouldn't House Liu be the first to be kicked out of the list of noble houses? Jing, be more specific. Zhenhu waved his hand, signaling Liu Tianyi to calm down. He then nodded to Liu Jinghan, allowing her to continue. Dad, both you and Uncle are right, but have you thought about it? Since it's inevitable to get rid of a noble house, even if House Wu and the Xiao family speak up for us, what's the use? If they don't get rid of us, are they supposed to get rid of them? Liu Jinghan said calmly, House Xiao may have gotten House Pai's help, but they've just become a first-rate noble house from a fallen noble house. Under these circumstances, they'll probably choose to protect themselves and not interfere with House Yu's decision. If they want to gain a foothold, then that'll be in the next noble house meeting. Even so, it shouldn't be a problem for the Xiao family to put in a good word, right? And what about House Wu? As long as House Wu speaks up for us, then House Chen should be the one getting rid of, right? Tianli felt that his daughter's words made sense, but House Wu was an old noble house, and Wu Gongao had always been a strong-willed person. If he were to speak up, then there shouldn't be a problem. Even if House Wu speaks up for us, who should we get rid of? From what I know, House Wu is trying to get House Kang into the list of noble houses this time, right? And House Xiao and House Kang seem to have a marriage relationship, right? Even if they were to speak up, it'd be for House Kang, wouldn't it? They can't wait for House Liu to get rid of, right? Liu Jinghan said calmly. Until now, the news of House Xiao and House Kang cancelling the marriage had yet to spread. House Xiao was too embarrassed to say it, and House Kang didn't have the time to say it. House Kang was busy thinking about how to compete with Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company, this. But, if they were to suggest getting rid of House Chen, wouldn't that protect House Liu's position? Tianli asked. Dad, even if that's the case, will House Yu listen to them? Don't forget, the Chen family has a marriage contract. Liu Jinghan reminded. Yes, if it weren't for Liu Jinghan's reminder, Liu Tianyi and Liu Tianli would have forgotten that House Chen still had an engagement. Many people knew about this back then, and it caused quite a stir. But as time went on, there was no more movement from that side, and House Chen didn't mention it anymore, so the engagement was forgotten by many. Now, many people had forgotten about it. If it weren't for Liu Jinghan bringing it up today, Liu Tianyi and Liu Tianli would have forgotten about it already. Jing, there's no movement from House Chen's engagement, it's probably off by now, right? Liu Tianli frowned and asked after some hesitation. Whether it's off or not, only House Chen knows. Old Chen can sit on the fishing platform without showing anything strange, that's enough to say something. Liu Jinghan analyzed carefully. In fact, old Chen wasn't too sure himself. There was no news from that side ever since the engagement, and they didn't send anyone to contact them for so many years. Although there was still some time before the agreed time, they couldn't just not send any news, could they? His granddaughter wasn't a practitioner, so did they give up on the marriage? Chapter 1105. A risky move. One had to know how powerful that sect was. Why would they be interested in a girl from a normal noble house? Plus, his granddaughter was still in her infancy, and he couldn't see any talent or potential in her at all. Their actions were a little strange. However, no matter what, it was a good thing. No matter what the other party's motive was, Old Man Chen naturally agreed to this matter. In the following period of time, the Chen family had indeed established a very stable position in the aristocratic family because of this marriage alliance. But it had been so many years, and they never contacted him again, not even through letters. This made Old Chen a little disappointed. Did they regret it? But, whether or not they regretted it, Old Chen didn't dare go and question them. After all, the difference between a noble house and an ancient sect wasn't just a little bit, it was like the difference between an ant and an elephant. Although he was a little nervous, Old Chen still looked like he had everything under control. Whether or not the ancient sects were in contact with House Chen, only Old Chen himself knew. Others didn't see it, but that didn't mean it didn't happen. As long as Old Chen didn't reveal any flaws, others would have to believe it. Jing's right, the Chen marriage, you guys were still young back then, but us older people all know about it. Why didn't the head of House Yu touch House Chen all these years? It's also because of this. Zhenhu spoke up. House Yu suspects this as well, but the marriage was real, so we'd rather believe it. If they really did offend the ancient sects, not just House Yu, but even the hidden House Yu behind them wouldn't be a match for the ancient sect. Liu Tianyi and Liu Tianli nodded, sighing helplessly. It seemed that House Liu's title as a noble house was already set in stone. Damn it, if it weren't for House Song's Lingshan breaking through to Golden Class late phase peak, House Song would have been one of the targets this time as well. But she broke through, and even got married to House Yu. Tianli stomped his feet, not satisfied. Jing, what do you mean by Lin Yi? Liu Tianyi was a bit more mature than Tianli. He knew that his previous ideas weren't going to work, so he turned his attention to his niece. Uncle, Dad, it's actually very simple. Liu Jinghan smiled faintly and asked, we should find the reason from the root of the matter. Why did the Kang family become an aristocratic family? Isn't it because of the Wu and Xiao families' support? Tianli said. Dad, the support from House Xiao and House Wu is just a facade. If House Kang doesn't have the capital and power to become a noble house, then even House Yu wouldn't be able to make the decision to let them become a noble house, right? Liu Jinghan shook her head and said, what the Kang family relies on is nothing more than some Jinchuang medicine, the special edition of Jinchuang medicine, skin-beautifying Jinchuang medicine, and other magical medicines. But Lin Yi has all of these. He even has the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing that's even more powerful than them. I'm thinking that if we can work with Lin Yi and let our House Liu become Lin Yi's sole distributor, then we'll be able to control the sales of these magical medicines. If they want to buy the medicine, they'll have to go through us. That way, our position will naturally rise. You're right, but we're willing to become Lin Yi's distributor, but Lin Yi might not be willing, right? Whoever becomes the distributor gets rich. House Yu wanted to do it too, but they were rejected. Tianli said, troubled. Dad, there are two sides to everything. A distributor can make money, but it can also make no money. We, House Liu, can be a distributor that doesn't make money. We'll hand over all the profits we get from the distributor, and we'll bear the operating costs ourselves. Liu Jinghan said. Plus, we won't make any decisions on the distributor, we'll let Lin Yi make all the decisions. A strange light flashed in Liu Tianyi's eyes. He didn't think that his niece would come up with such an idea. This way, House Liu would be a free laborer, and they wouldn't get any power or profits. Instead, they'd have to sacrifice a lot of money and manpower. On the surface, it looked like House Liu was losing a lot, but in reality, it was a name that they'd earned. They'd also built a good relationship with Lin Yi, and if House Liu had any problems in the future, they'd be able to find Lin Yi. Zhenhu nodded, approving. His granddaughter's ideas were always so unexpected. Positioning the entire House Liu as Lin Yi's follower was a bit bold, but if they succeeded, the results would be unimaginable. Zhenhu had long since noticed that Lin Yi wasn't a normal person, and now that he'd caused 1 death and 2 injuries in House Yu and Xiao family, it only showed how powerful Lin Yi was. House Liu, on the other hand, was looking for a breakthrough and change. If they were to be Lin Yi's follower, it wouldn't be a good way out. It might seem like lowering their status, but in front of the hidden House Yu, weren't House Yu still the follower? Besides, wasn't the Xiao family the hidden House Pai's follower as well? And so, the follower's prestige depended entirely on the boss's strength. If Lin Yi was someone who didn't even put the hidden houses in his eyes, then House Liu would be a noble house that was above House Yu and Xiao family. Of course, this was all based on guessing and gambling. No one knew if Lin Yi had a bigger power backing him, and no one knew if Lin Yi would be able to go further in the future. Qianli understood his daughter's words as well, but he fell into deep thought. After a while, he spoke, Jing Jing, that Lin Yi looks strong, but is still House Yu's enemy. Us House Liu willingly lowering our status means that we're walking into House Yu's territory. If Lin Yi can take care of House Yu, then that's fine, but what if he can't? I heard that his enemy, Jin Wudi, in order to avenge his disciple Ma Zhu, has already applied to the Hidden House Council to get revenge on Lin Yi. He's an Earth class. He's invincible. I'm afraid that before we can even celebrate, Lin Yi will be killed by Jin Wudi. Chapter 1106. House Kang panicked as well. A joint attack, Liu Jinghan smiled. House Yu and Xiao family may hate Lin Yi, but the other noble houses may not be willing to go against Lin Yi with House Yu and Xiao family. Lin Yi's power is far greater than House Yu and Xiao families. Going against Lin Yi, House Yu and Xiao family may not be able to protect them. Plus, House Yu and Xiao family themselves can't do anything to Lin Yi right now. Liu Tianyi and Liu Tianli fell into deep thought. They had to admit that Liu Jinghan's words made them think. This was an opportunity for House Liu, and if they went well, House Liu's position might even surpass the noble houses in the future. It all depended on how far Lin Yi could go, but if Lin Yi was killed by the enemy before reaching that step, then House Liu would be wiped out along with him, and House Liu's foundation would be destroyed in an instant. It could be said that opportunity and danger existed side by side. If House Liu had no other way out, then Liu Tianyi and Liu Tianli wouldn't mind giving it a shot. But now, the two of them couldn't make up their minds. Dad, you mean? Liu Tianyi raised his head and looked at Zhenhu. What Jingjing said makes sense. But then again, I can't make the final decision until I reach that point. Zhenhu was a wise old man, but this matter was too important. He couldn't make a decision right now. Pay close attention to the noble house meeting, as well as Lin Yi's recent movements. We'll have to take it one step at a time. Yes, father. Liu Tianyi nodded. The current method was the safest. Liu Jinghan didn't say anything else. She was leaning towards working with Lin Yi, but that was just wishful thinking. Lin Yi might not work with House Liu. House Liu wanted to be his underling, but did Lin Yi want this underling? If Lin Yi had enough support and strength, then House Liu would be useless. If Lin Yi didn't have the strength, then there was no point in House Liu acknowledging him as their boss. This was the first time Liu Jinghan had such a headache. With Xiao family at the bottom, she wasn't too worried about House Liu's future, but now, she had to. House Kang, on the other hand, got the news of Xiao family as well. The hidden House Pai had actually become House Xiao's backer. This way, House Xiao went from a bottom house to a super house that was on par with House Yu. They weren't as strong as House Yu yet, but they had the support of the hidden House Pai, so it wasn't a problem for them to grow stronger. Kang Gui Feng, you piece of trash. Didn't you say that Xiao family was a stray dog with no value anymore? You told us to stay away from them, but look at what you've done. Isn't this great? Now that Xiao family has become a super house, second only to House Yu, and they have the hidden house backing them, you've rejected the marriage. Dr. Kang was furious when he heard that Xiao family had the support of House Pai. He called Kang Gui Feng, Kang Tsuepu, Kang Jiaolong, and Kang Mingming together and scolded them. Father, At that time, Xiao family was at their weakest, but who would have thought that the hidden House Pai didn't hold them responsible for hurting Uncle Pai, and even helped them? Kang Gui Feng was troubled as well. Who knew that things would turn out this way? If he'd known, he wouldn't have rejected the marriage. He would have wanted his son to marry Xinyan, but now, it was too late to say anything. There was no medicine for regret in this world. You're trash, A huge piece of trash. Miracle Dr. Kang slammed the tea table, gritting his teeth. Kang Gui Feng didn't dare say anything. He lowered his head and didn't say anything. It was useless to say anything now. A mistake was a mistake. One wrong step, and everything else would be wrong. Tell me, number 2. Miracle Dr. Kang turned to his second son, not even calling him by his name, calling him number 2. Father, I've said it before. A skinny camel is still bigger than a horse, and the Xiao family isn't completely useless. That's why I didn't agree to fight with the Xiao family, but now that things have turned out like this, what else can I do? There's nothing we can do. Kang Tsuepu shrugged helplessly. He didn't think that his nonsense last time would turn out to be true. Miracle Dr. Kang recalled that Tsuepu did say something like that before, but he didn't think much of it, thinking that it was just nonsense. Tsuepu's words weren't without reason, after all. Good advice was a pain to the ears. His second son might be a spoiled brat, but he had a good eye for problems. Dr. Kang turned to Jiaolong and asked, Jiaolong, do you have any ideas? You agreed to break the marriage with the Xiao family when they're down. Do you have any ideas? Grandpa, I was wrong. Jiaolong was troubled as well. He never would have thought that the Xiao family would turn the tables, and it was a big one at that. What could he do now? He prayed in his heart that Dr. Kang wouldn't blame him. What's the use of being wrong? Miracle Dr. Kang hemped coldly as he looked at Jiaolong's silent face. He'd really misjudged them. Gui Feng and Jiaolong, both of them dropping the ball at such a crucial moment. What the hell was this? Who told him to be in such a hurry to apologize? The most important thing now was to come up with a plan. Now that the Xiao family couldn't be removed from the noble house, wouldn't House Kang lose their chance? Plus, the Xiao family and House Kang were enemies now. Even if House Kang had the chance to become a noble house, the Xiao family might not put in a good word for them. You'd be lucky if they didn't ruin you. Dr. Kang felt powerless and turned to Kang Mingming. Jiaoming, what do you say, Grandpa? I told you last time that there's still a day when the Xiao family can make a comeback. The Xiao family may be down and out, but they're still a noble house. It's hard to say if there's a day when they can make a comeback. But none of you listened to me back then, even saying that I wanted to play with my sister-in-law. Kang Mingming looked at his brother Jiaolong, annoyed. If it wasn't for Jiaolong, he would have gotten the beauty back then, and House Kang wouldn't be in such a difficult situation right now. Chapter 1107. A master from House Pai. Grandpa, I think that the first thing we need to do is to be on good terms with the Xiao family and try to mend our relationship. If we can, we should continue with the marriage. Kang Mingming said. That's true. Jiaoming is right. Gui Feng, did you hear that? You messed this up, and now you have to fix it. We need to find a way to get the Xiao family's forgiveness. Dr. Kang hemped as he spoke to Kang Gui Feng. That's. Kang Gui Feng was speechless. Wasn't this a little too difficult? They'd already offended the Xiao family. Was it even possible to mend their relationship? Plus, the Xiao family already had the support of House Pai. What was the point of having a marriage with House Kang? Who doesn't know how to say that? Of course we need to mend our relationship, but with the current situation, is it even possible? Jiaolong was unhappy that Kang Mingming stole his limelight. This Kang Mingming was obviously here for Kang Gui Feng and Jiaolong. Whether or not it can be mended is up to Uncle. I can't do anything about it. I didn't offend the Xiao family either, did I? Kang Mingming said sarcastically. Jiaolong was infuriated. He glared at Jiaolong, speechless. All right, Jiaoming, stop blaming others. Dr. Kang still treated Jiaolong better than Kang Mingming. Grandpa, I'm not blaming, but the first point can only be done by Uncle. As the saying goes, whoever started the trouble should untie it. I can't do anything about it. But this is just the first point. We can use other methods to mend our relationship with the Xiao family. For example, the Xiao family is looking for business partners, and isn't House Kang a good candidate? Kang Mingming waved his hand. We can take some losses when we're working with them, but repairing our relationship is more important. Actually, everyone knew what Kang Mingming was talking about. It was just that House Kang was confused and didn't think about it. Kang Mingming, on the other hand, had the intention to be in the limelight, so he was relatively calm. To Kang Jiaoming, this wasn't a loss at all. Whether or not House Kang became a noble house wouldn't affect his life. He was just a spoiled brat. His grandfather wouldn't let him inherit the family business, so he didn't have to worry too much about it. We still have to rely on the light at this point. Kang Kang's face lit up as well. Kang Ming Ming, Kang 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 Ming Ming Ming, Kang Kang Ming Kang Kang Ming Kang Kang Ming Ming's words we can xiao. Kang Guifeng's eyes lit up after listening to Kang Ming Ming's words. He had to admit that Kang Ming Ming was smart. Although this idea was ordinary, it was very practical. Otherwise, why would they want to mend their relationship with the Xiao family? You're the one who said the marriage, and you're the one who said no. Are you making fun of them? Of course, this is only one aspect. Although the idea is out, whether it can succeed or not depends on Uncle's operation. Kang Ming Ming Kang Kang Ming was a schemer, but even so, he might not get the forgiveness of the Xiao family, but Kang Ming Ming pushed the blame onto Kang Guifeng. If things didn't work out, it would be Kang Guifeng's fault, not Kang Ming Ming's idea. Kang Guifeng's face changed, and he wanted to explain, but before he could, Kang Ming continued. On the other hand, if we want to become a noble house, we have to rely on ourselves. In other words, we have to rely on me. As long as I can get the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, then the Xiao family's support won't matter anymore. We have the pill, we have the strength, we don't have to be afraid that House Yu won't agree to let us become a noble house. Jiaoming, you really are the fortune of House Kang. Dr. Kang heard Kang Ming Ming's words and stood up excitedly, patting Kang Ming Ming's shoulder. Good grandson, you're still the calmest at this crucial moment. I've misjudged you before, thinking you were a spoiled brat, but you're actually a wise man. You're flattering me, grandfather, Kang Ming Ming said humbly. In fact, it was normal for him to say all this, and it was also part of House Kang's development plan. It was just that saying it now had a different meaning. House Kang will rely on you in the future. I hope that House Kang will be able to take another step forward in your hands, and walk towards glory, Dr. Kang said solemnly. I understand, grandfather. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Kang Ming Ming was overjoyed. His grandfather had finally changed his mind, and was raising him as the third-generation head of the house. Dr. Kang's words, however, made Kang Guifeng and Xiaolong's faces change. It seemed that they had made a huge mistake this time, and they disappointed Dr. Kang, but there was no point in saying anything else. Kang Guifeng gritted his teeth. He had to rebuild his friendship with the Xiao family at all cost. Even if he had to sacrifice a little, it wouldn't hurt. If he couldn't do this, then Xiaolong's position would be in danger. With that in mind, Kang Guifeng didn't dare to delay. After the family meeting, he brought Xiaolong to Songshan to visit the Xiao family. A blue SUV was driving on the highway. Xiaolong was driving, and Kang Guifeng was sitting in the passenger seat. Xiaolong, this is a very serious matter. If we don't handle it well, our position in House Kang will plummet. Kang Guifeng sighed, his eyes serious. Father, I don't think we did anything wrong. Back then, everyone thought that the Xiao family wouldn't be able to make a comeback, but who would have thought that something like this would happen? Xiaolong said. Jiaoming, on the other hand, had his own selfish motives. Only Grandpa didn't know what he was thinking, but who would have thought that he'd hit the nail on the head? You don't have to say that. The winner is king, and the loser is a thief. Let's think of a way to salvage the situation. Kang Guifeng waved his hand. It didn't matter whether Xiaolong hit the nail on the head or not. There was no point in discussing it. Yeah, I don't know if the Xiao family will forgive us. Xiaolong nodded. The car stopped in front of the Xiao family's villa, but the Xiao family was no longer the same as before. Normal people wouldn't be able to get in. The masters from House Pai came quickly. The night Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai returned, the masters from House Pai came. Master Pai, Brother Pai, are you satisfied with the room? Xiao Ji respectfully showed the two masters the room. This was the third floor of the Xiao family's villa, and no one had lived here before. Chapter 1108. What was said all right, it's fine as long as the bedroom is livable. The one speaking was one of the older masters from House Pai, who was called Master Pai. He waved his hand, just make the training room downstairs better. Don't worry, Master Pai, it's all ready. Just tell us what you need, and we'll buy it for you, Xiaoji said quickly. At that moment, the doorbell of the Xiao family's villa rang. Big brother, go see who's coming, I'll stay here with the two masters. Xiao Ben gave Xiaoji a look. Xiaoji also knew his own weight. He was afraid that his uncouth character would say something inappropriate, so he was happy to leave Xiao Ben here. He went to see who had come to visit the Xiao family. That afternoon, after the news got out, there were a lot of rich houses calling to say that they wanted to work with the Xiao family. It wasn't a surprise that someone was visiting. Xiaoji arrogantly went downstairs. He opened the door of the villa and looked outside, but he was slightly stunned. What he didn't expect was that it was Kang Guifeng and Kang Jiaolong, father and son, standing outside. Xiaoji may be an uncouth man, but he wasn't an idiot. He knew what House Kang's intentions were, of course. Thinking back to the humiliation he'd suffered outside House Kang's villa, Xiaoji's anger flared. Fine, I haven't even gone looking for you yet, and you've come knocking on my door. If I don't make fun of you this time, I'll be sorry for your hospitality last time. Isn't this the Kang father and son? What business do you have with the Xiao family? Kang Guifeng and Xiaoji's words were still fresh in his mind, so this time, Xiaoji returned the same words back to them. Kang Guifeng and Jiaolong's hearts skipped a beat as they listened to Xiaoji's words. It seemed like things were going to be as they'd expected. Xiao bro, what are you saying, aren't we related by marriage? What's wrong with that? Kang Guifeng said with a smile. Related by marriage? Who is related to you by marriage? When did our families become in-laws? Kang Guifeng, do you have a bad memory? Did you remember wrongly? Xiaoji laughed coldly in his heart. Now you know that we are in-laws. What were you doing earlier? Don't you have a bad memory? Alright then, you can continue on your way. Big brother Xiao. Don't be angry. My memory is indeed a little bad. The last time you came to my house, I was muddle-headed and didn't remember. When I went back and told Jiaolong about it, I finally remembered that our families are actually in-laws, Kang Guifeng said awkwardly. Fortunately, the reason he said before was that he had a bad memory. Now, he could use this reason as an excuse. Kang Guifeng, I really don't know what nonsense you are talking about here. Xiaoji laughed coldly and said, there are too many people who want to be connected to the Xiao family. Who knows if it's true or not? What's more, you're talking about a marriage alliance. Who are you going to marry? How come I don't know? You've been talking for so long and you still haven't made yourself clear. Our Xiao family is all male, and you're trying to get married. I may be called Xiaoji, but I'm not gay. Hey! Kang Guifeng was speechless. Xiaoji's words were a little vulgar, but the logic was clear. He didn't know them, so leave. Alright, stop it. Alright, stop it. If you have proof of our engagement, then take it out. If not, then get the fuck out, I don't have time for you. Two masters came to my house, and one of them is a mystic late-phase peak. Don't blame me if you come here to cause trouble again, Xiaoji threatened impatiently. With that, Xiaoji ignored Kang Guifeng and Jiaolong and went back into the villa. He slammed the door shut, leaving the Kangs outside. This. Kang Guifeng looked at the Xiao family's door and sighed heavily. He shook his head, it seems like it's hopeless. They don't want to talk to us at all. Father, why don't we try again? After all, we've decided to make some sacrifices and tell them the conditions. Maybe Xiao family will change their mind. Jiaolong didn't want to give up. Didn't you hear what Xiaoji said? There are two masters in their house, and one of them is a mystic late-phase peak. Among all the noble houses, only House Yu has masters like that. If Xiao family has such strength, why would they need us to work with them? There are a lot of people who want to work with them, and we're not in the queue. Kang Guifeng smiled bitterly. They've made it clear that they don't care about us. Xiao family isn't what it used to be, and we're of no use anymore. But I don't want to give up just like this. Jiaolong clenched his fist. So what? If Xiao family wanted to accept us, they wouldn't be treating us like this. There's no point in saying anything now. Let's go back. Kang Guifeng was quite open-minded. In fact, He didn't want to stand here and be humiliated anymore. Jiaolong nodded and got in the car with his father, leaving with his tail between his legs. Jiaolong didn't want to give up just like this, but what else could he do? They wouldn't give him a chance. After Xiao Ji ran back to the villa, he conveyed everything that happened to his second brother, Xiao Ben. After Xiao Ben heard it, he felt that it was a pity. We can make the Kang family bleed a lot and give us some compensation. After all, we are short of funds now. Second brother, now that we have 2 masters from House Pai in our Xiao family, we don't have to worry about funds. When the time comes, there will be many people who want to cooperate with us. Why should we mix with the Kang family, the treacherous people? Xiao Ji said disapprovingly, I've said it before, they're blind. Even if they came to lick my toes, I wouldn't leave them alone. That's right, at least we got our revenge. You're right, with our Xiao family's current strength, we don't have to worry about partners. Xiao Ben nodded and put the matter to the back of his mind. The news of the Xiao family naturally reached Lin Yi's ears. Lin Yi didn't pay attention to the noble houses, but Forbert was well informed in Songshan. The hidden House Pai supporting the Xiao family wasn't good news for House Chu. Chapter 1109. Gauden is here Yi. House Xiao has the support of the hidden House Pai. Do you know about this? When Forbert called, Lin Yi had just sent Xiao Xiao and Tang Yun home and was driving back to the villa. Hidden House Pai? Lin Yi paused. Is it the same as the hidden House Yu and House Zhao? Lin Yi didn't know much about the structure of the hidden houses. Yes, the hidden House Pai is stronger than the hidden House Zhao. I heard that the Pai Elder is an Earth-class late-phase peak, just 1 step away from Sky-class, but it's just a rumor. After all, there's no proof. Plus, House Pai is a physical practitioner, so there's still a gap between them and spiritual practitioners. Forbert summarized what he knew to Lin Yi. The Pai Elder is just 1 step away from Sky-class? Lin Yi frowned. He didn't expect the hidden House Pai to be this strong. One had to know that it was extremely hard to improve once a physical practitioner reached the late phase. Physical practitioners were different from spiritual practitioners. Spiritual practitioners relied on qi and treasures to increase their strength, but physical practitioners relied on constant training of the body to increase their strength. In other words, spiritual practitioners could train by themselves, but once a physical practitioner reached a certain level, they would need someone to train with them in order to increase their strength and find an opportunity to break through. To put it bluntly, physical practitioners were similar to boxing and Sonda. If you wanted to improve, you needed a sparring partner, and you couldn't do it by yourself. The old man from House Pai was only 1 step away from Sky-class. In other words, other than the old man from House Pai, there should be another person who was as strong as him training with him. This meant that House Pai's power couldn't be underestimated. Yes, but from the looks of it, House Pai and Xiao family are just partners. Xiao family won't use House Pai to take revenge on us yet, Forbert said. Right, how strong are the practitioners House Pai sent to Xiao family? Lin Yi asked. One is Mystic Late Phase Peak, and one is Mystic Early Phase, both physical practitioners, Forbert said. Mystic Early Phase isn't a problem, but Mystic Late Phase Peak. This is a bit troublesome. Lin Yi's eyebrows locked together. He was a Mystic Mid-Phase spiritual practitioner, and he had some confidence against Mystic Late Phase Peak or Mystic Late Phase physical practitioners. But if the opponent was Mystic Late Phase Peak, Lin Yi didn't have much confidence, unless he used the energy bomb, the ultimate killing move, but it was a move that would kill 1,000 enemies and himself at the cost of 800. He wouldn't use it unless he had no other choice. After all, the consequences were too dangerous, and he had to think about it carefully. That's right. If only I could regain my strength at my peak. Forbert sighed and said helplessly, if I break through to Mystic now, even if it's early phase, I'd be able to help. With the 2 of us working together, we wouldn't be afraid of that Mystic Late Phase Peak. But right now, although I'm only 1 step away from Mystic, I'm still a level away. Lin Yi nodded after hearing Forbert's words. Indeed, although he could fight enemies stronger than him, Forbert couldn't. He benefited from the purity of the pure qi he absorbed, as well as his mental cultivation. It'd be great if he could let Forbert use the qi in the jade, but it wasn't easy. Energy was different from other things. Lin Yi even wondered if he could store the energy in the bottle, but that wasn't practical. "We'll deal with it when they come. I'm not afraid of them." Lin Yi didn't have much confidence, but to give Forbert confidence, he could only say that. "I'll keep an eye on them. As long as they don't come looking for trouble, we'll let them be," Forbert replied. In actuality, Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben did want to cause trouble for House Chu and Lin Yi. They were drooling over House Chu's wealth. Their original plan was perfect. House Pai would definitely get revenge for Uncle Pai, and then they'd naturally go looking for trouble with House Chu. But now, it seemed like House Pai didn't care about Uncle Pai's life at all. Whether it was Pai Jishan or Pai Jihai, or the two masters that came later, none of them had any intention of visiting Uncle Pai in the hospital. So, although Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben had this idea, they didn't dare make any rash decisions. After all, Pai Jishan had made it clear that the masters of House Pai would only help when the Xiao family was in trouble. They weren't the fighters of the Xiao family, so Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben didn't dare order them to do anything. "Brother, why don't we discuss with Master Pai and Brother Pai, and go looking for trouble with House Chu? That would count as getting some money." Xiao Ji waited for the two masters from House Pai to settle down before going to the study with Xiao Ben to discuss the future of the Xiao family. "We can't. The two masters from House Pai are different from Uncle Pai. Master Pai said very clearly that they'll only help when we're in trouble. We can't order them to do anything, can we?" Xiao Ben said. "But we're asking for money from House Chu because we want to do business for House Pai. House Pai's benefits are closely related to us now," Xiao Ji said. "That's true, but we're not familiar with the two Pai masters yet. We don't know their temperament yet. Even if we were to make a move, we'd have to wait until we're familiar with them. At that time, things will be much easier," Xiao Ben said. "Right now, our Xiao family doesn't have to worry about money at all. Anyone who wants to work with us will provide us with money." "That's right, it'll be easier once we're familiar with them," Xiao Ji nodded. "You have good eyes, brother." This was the first time Gaodan left his house. On the train, he remembered Grandpa Lin's words and didn't say a word, only doing his own thing. There were a few scammers on the train that had their eyes on Gaodan, but seeing that he didn't care about anyone, they all gave up. There was nothing they could do. To them, a country bumpkin like Gaodan was the hardest to deal with. He didn't talk, and he didn't sleep. There was no way they could take advantage of him. And so, Gaodan was safe and sound on the way to Songshan's train station.